Melissa Bolden, escorted by mother Brittany and stepfather Josh Bolden. Travis Boyce, escorted by parents Kent and Karen Boyce. Allison Garay, escorted by parents Patton and Stephanie Garay. Davin Gardner, escorted by parents Daphne Gardner and Demetrius Martin. Etienne Greaves, escorted by mother Claudia Greaves. Melvin Jane, escorted by parents Winnie Wayne and Jane Jane. Blake Jones, escorted by parents James and Melissa Ward. Isabella Meehan, escorted by parents Julie and Nick Meehan. Elizabeth McElroy, escorted by parents Mark and Kristen McElroy. Carson Millsap, escorted by parents Scott and Jody Millsap. Jaden Murphy, escorted by parents Sarah Ondera. Lily Payne, escorted by parents Fred and Angela Payne. London Petrosky, escorted by sister Kendall Petrosky. Soham Punch, escorted by parents Mohit Punch and Needy Sharma. Maya Rona, escorted by parents Ethal and Sheetul Rona and brother Ishan. Corrine Red, escorted by parents Elena and Brent Red. Caleb Stewart, escorted by parents Ben and Erin Stewart. Joel Zavala, escorted by parents Tony and Martha Zavala. And now, let's recognize the senior members of your Colleyville Heritage Panthers, who have contributed to the Pantera legacy under the direction of Mrs. Harris May. Maddie Beck, escorted by Matt and Shelly Beck, and brother Marcus. Lauren Bellinger, escorted by Tracy and Jake Bellinger and brother Owen. Elle Blanchard, escorted by Ashley and Eric Blanchard. Bella Compass, escorted by Ryan, Angie, and Gavin Compass.
Just let me know when
I'm good. Danny Heisey, escorted by Andrew, Aaron, and Kevin Heisey.
All right, so I'm about to do some
it the big time. Got your name in lights. Now you're gonna shine. Got 'em in your sights.
You wanna be great now. You're just trying to find a way out. I don't wanna tell you how to live, but I just don't want you to miss. And I don't mean to scare you. I want you to live, and I dare you to give this life all you have. Yeah, all you We are legendary. We are not ordinary. We are legendary. You will remember our names. We are legendary. Living extraordinary. We are legendary. You will remember our names.
Ray Rogers, escorted by Tyler Rogers.
So we're all good.
Jaden Nestor, escorted by Mandy and Jason Nestor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for Colleyville Heritage Senior Night. Panther fight never dies.
Welcome into Panther Friday Night on Tradio. District play beginning this evening, and ahead of tonight's matchup, let's hear from the head coach, Jerry Edwards, and his thoughts on tonight's affair. Back with you here on Panther Friday Night on Tradio, joined alongside head football coach Jerry Edwards. Coach, district play begins tonight, your second consecutive game at home. And before we get into tonight's affair, last week an interesting game, a lightning-shortened game that got started a little bit late, but your squad comes out with a victory against Richland. What are your biggest takeaways from that matchup, Coach?
Well, I thought our team, you always want to see a big improvement between week 1 and week 2. And I think, everybody that was there week 1 and there last Friday night and week 2 could see how vastly improved our team got. We were able to make some corrections and fix some mistakes. Defensively played well, gave up a couple big plays, but overall did a good job of containing a really, really good offense. And then offensively, we had long drives and able to put the ball in the end zone and pick up some key third downs and fourth downs and keep the chains moving. So I was really pleased with that unit and their ability to move the football and, number one, get in the end zone.
And going up in that game, I know in the pregame for last week, we talked about offensive efficiency and how you wanted to see that improve, and you really did in a lot of areas. Bodie Weaver, of course, spreading the ball around, and then Gerard Wiley, he had the home run to start that second half and ultimately a big decider in that game. But how did you feel that the offense was able to, a lot of guys getting involved, be more efficient in that game too?
Yeah, our efficiency was off the charts, and that's kind of what we wanted. Going into the game, we wanted to do a little bit better job of controlling the field position, which we did. It was kind of a wash, even for both teams. But for our offense to stay on track and be efficient was big for us. It was, allowing us to move. And then if you're efficient, you're going to hit explosive plays here and there, and we were able to do that as well. So extremely pleased with how we went about taking what the defense gave us and being methodical in our approach last week.
When you went back and watched the film on that 69-yard touchdown run by Jarrod Wiley, what was more impressive, Jarrod Wiley's speed or just the massive hole that your offensive line created for him to have all that space?
Well, I was over I was behind our offense because I was still trying to wrap my head around because Richland, they came out and drove the ball right down and scored to start the second half. And so, I was on the headset talking with the defensive guys trying to get it figured out. And I happened to look up and I saw the hole. And, it was a huge hole. Our offensive line, did a tremendous job. But obviously our coaches saw something at halftime and made some adjustments. And it opened up. And, that's the thing with J-Rod. He's one step away several times from taking it to the house. He has elite speed. And so we just need to get him an open field. And he's a tough guy to catch once he gets in the open field.
Stay with the offense for a moment. 5 touchdowns this year by 5 different guys and 4 different guys scoring in week number 2. We talked about Jarrod Wiley, of course, Blake Wendler, the all-district tight end, getting involved, and then Gabe Best with a touchdown on a really nice play out of the backfield, and Lucas Sumwall, the sophomore wideout, felt like that was kind of his coming-out party in week 2, 83 yards and a score. What impressed you about the sophomore Lucas Sumwall?
Well, he came in at a moment's notice, and I think the very first play he was in the game made a huge catch for us to keep the chains moving. But the one-handed grab, I think, right there to score the touchdown was unbelievable. I think everybody in the stadium and all week long have talked about how great of a catch that was. But, he had another one-handed catch in the scrimmage that was amazing too. But, he's a playmaker, and so for him to do that, he was named our game breaker of the week, because I think that really opened up the game. I think that really sparked some energy on our sideline, got the crowd involved, and I think that kind of, gave our offense and defense and everybody some confidence, and that's what you do when you're a game breaker. You go out there and make big plays when your number's called. His number was called, and Cody put it on him, and he reached up and grabbed it and tucked it in, and he was pretty pumped on the sideline, sophomore getting his first varsity touchdown. It's a pretty special moment.
On the other side, really, for those that don't know, football in the DFW area, incredibly impressive. I know you know that, but week 1, you're going up against a Notre Dame commit and receiver. Week 2, Jayshon Gibson, plenty of Power 4 offers. And then for the Colony, they've got multiple Division I type guys at the skill position. Xavier Green going to Tulsa, and then Kendrick McLeodin getting some D1 interest and about 11 yards a carry. So slowing down some of the key playmakers for the Colony. What's your thoughts going into that matchup for your defense?
Well, I've been really pleased with our defense and how well they've played the first 2 games. Red Oak and Richland, kind of 2 different style of offense. When you break them down, Red Oak is super athletic team that likes to throw the ball around. And then, Richland is kind of a balanced team, very methodical, very efficient. They had a tremendous offensive line and a tremendous running back. But our defense has risen to the call. Richland was able to drop the ball a couple times on us, but, kind of that bend but don't break mentality. Got a couple 4th down stops, an interception. So, proud of what we were able to do. We did give up a couple big plays, which we got to make sure that we do a little bit better job on, in the secondary, a couple mistakes there. But, for the Colony, once again, kind of that same mentality, try to make them one-dimensional. They got number 5, their wide receiver, who is, probably their best playmaker. So we got to know where he's at on the field. And then up front, our front 7, they got to just continue to dominate the line of scrimmage. What I want to see more of this week is havoc plays, tackle for a loss or tackles for no gain. We didn't have any of those last week, and that kind of showed up in our analytics. And so we just want to be a little bit more aggressive behind the line of scrimmage and make bigger plays there.
Yeah, it really seems, I mean, when you talk of TFLs, I think one of the most impressive games any individual had for you guys last year was Demarius Logan against the Colony. I think he was in the backfield on almost every play. Last year ended up having 3 sacks, but it was an interesting game because their senior quarterback goes down in Jalen Gaines, and now he's taken the reins as the starter this year. What do you make of his game, and what challenges do you think he'll have now that he has more experience really getting thrown in the fire last year against you guys?
Yeah, I think he's a seasoned guy back there. He does a good job of running their offense. He's an athlete that can run. He does keep his eyes downfield. Doesn't take off on the scrambles too often, but can and will show his speed. So we got to do a good job of keeping him in the pocket. We feel pretty good about our game plan and what we're doing to do to try to slow their receivers down a little bit and get some pass rush. But once again, I think the biggest thing for us, like you mentioned, is getting in the backfield. Our 4 D linemen have done a great job. The Red Oak quarterback was as mobile as they get, and I thought our 4 guys did a tremendous job of keeping him corralled and keeping him behind the line of scrimmage and not letting him break off big runs on a scramble.
And, Coach, final thing, as district play starts tonight, what's the message to the team? I know that you told me, hey, these first 2 games, big tests against playoff powers, but now that it's district play, and I know all the games matter, but these really get going in terms of if you're going to go to the postseason or not. What's the message to the team leading into tonight's district opener?
Yeah, that's what we talked to our team about. The first 2 games are warm-up games, and the next 8 games, determine if we get bonus games. And so that's what we talk about with our kids all the time, is we got to go out there and we got to earn bonus games. We're only guaranteed 10. But if you go out there the next 8 games and take care of business, then you're rewarded with bonus football. And so, it's got to be one game at a time. Our district is, from top to bottom, very, very talented. There's a lot of good football teams in our district. So every week is important. Every win that you can get is important because you never know how it's going to shake out at the end. Now, our ultimate goal is to go undefeated in district and win a district championship. But it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a day-by-day approach. You can't look ahead. You got to focus on the opponent in front of you, and our kids typically do a good job at that. I'm glad we're at MP. We seem to play well when we're at MP, and so just want our kids to go out there, play their game, and try to secure our first district win.
That's right, Coach. Teams played really well, especially under your direction at home in district play with 7-0 mark, and looking to continue that here as you begin year number 3 at Colleyville opening district play. So, Coach, thanks so much for taking the time, and best of luck tonight.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Go Panthers.
That's head football coach Jerry Edwards joining us on the pregame show. I'm Will Connerly alongside Tramel Jeffers. The Colony and Colleyville meeting tonight to open district play. It should be a fun matchup here tonight between 2 teams looking to start district play off on the right foot, Tramel.
Oh, yeah, very exciting. And this is where you play for all the marbles now, district play. First game of district play. So every game counts now moving forward.
It does indeed, and we will step aside here for just one moment.
Through
Panther Friday night on Tradio, live here this evening at Mustang Panther Stadium as the Colleyville Heritage Panthers host the Cougars of the Colony, a pair of 1-1 teams battling tonight on the 12th day of September for district opener football action here tonight. Now for Colleyville, they lose in week 1 against Red Oak, however, turn around last week and beat Richland 30-21 in a lightning-shortened game. But it was the offense that was the biggest story in that. They improved a lot from just scoring 11 points in week 1 against Red Oak. They scored on their final 4 drives of that game before lightning shortened the game, and they tried to carry that momentum here into week number 3 and week number 1 for district play. And Trammell, they'll start with the ball tonight, so we'll get to see it right out of the gate.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. The way that they ended. The way that they came out in that game against Richland last week, they didn't start off too hot on the offense, but they picked it up towards the end of that first quarter. And then once they got into that second quarter, they just took off with it. They scored on their last 4 drives. And the biggest thing was they were able to sustain drives. They were able to move the ball down the field, get those chunk yards, and then also pick up the big explosive plays as well. So they pretty much got to do whatever they wanted.
And the Colony going with an onside kick to begin this game. Riley Stewart comes up with it, it looks like, for the Cougars for a moment. However, a crazy start to this matchup, Trammell, and Colleyville, who was set to receive. The Colony comes out to open up district play with an onside kick, and they end up getting an opportunity to have a recovery. However, Colleyville was able to hop on it, but a scare if you're a Panther fan to begin this ball game. However, Colleyville will have a 1st and 10. 1 second into this game caused some concern. Teams haven't wanted to kick it deep to Gerard Wiley, who stands in the backfield next to Bodie Weaver this season. And Bodie Weaver with a huge hole across the 45-yard line. And Trammell, a crazy start. Colleyville, good field position because the Colony opted to surprise on side, nearly got it, and Colleyville able to hop on it. So if you're not ready for this ball game, we're underway.
Yeah, and that's a big risk to start the game. And if you don't get it, then you're probably going to pay. And this Colleyville Panthers offense is looking to capitalize on it and make this Colony team pay.
So Bodie Weaver was able to bang it inside for a gain of about 10, a 1st down for Colleyville. He's averaging about 75 yards per game on the ground. Nowhere to go on that running attempt by Gerard Wiley. Brennan Chung, the senior linebacker, with the tackle for loss right there.
And Colleyville is going to look to establish the run early throughout the game. We'll be able to see if they're going to have some success doing it.
Jacencio Mendez down on the field for the Colony right now, so a stoppage after Colleyville's got stopped up at the backfield by Brendan Chung. Brendan Chung coming in and stopping Gerard Wiley. He had nowhere to go on the run, got chopped down, 3-yard loss in the backfield, making it a 2nd and 13. And now some attention to the defensive lineman and the junior, Jacencio Mendez, right now being tended to on this defense for the Colony. Makes his way up and toward the sideline right now. So no score, opening drive for Colleyville, just a few plays in. It was a Bodie Weaver run, followed by a Gerard Wiley run. But Colleyville, one way to be more efficient in their offense, it feels as though to establish the run, because that is what can open up some of these explosive plays that we saw a little bit last week. It was certainly the coming out party for Lucas Sunwall. What a way to have your first career varsity touchdown with a one-handed spectacular grab. And he's out there right now on the field with 5 out wide for Colleyville in an empty backfield.
Interesting. And yes, what a spectacular grab he had last week. Definitely the play of last week's game.
So empty for Weaver, and that spreads out the defense and allows Bodie to run up the sideline. Got a block from Gerard Wiley and gets around the 35-yard line. No score in this opening quarter, opening drive for Colleyville, and a second down and short after Bodie Weaver picked up about 10 yards on the play, but second and short after a 3-yard loss on the initial carry with this fresh set of downs.
Yeah, we talked about establishing the run, and it's also going to pitch in with Bodie Weaver as well, and that's going to open up things for Gerard Wiley later on down the line.
Bodie Weaver takes it himself. Good block from Wiley. Spins right by the 30-yard line. Enough for a first down. The Colleyville offense on this opening drive, all the plus yards have been with Bodie Weaver using his legs, and he's charging ahead once again. Another first down run for the quarterback.
Yeah, and that time he just a design run, gets the handoff, pick up those extra 3 or 4 yards to get that first down and keep the chains moving.
Came in with 17 rushes for 147 yards, getting 8.6 a carry. Bodie Weaver, first pass of the day, plenty of time, but plenty of green in front of him as well. A race to the sideline, and Bodie Weaver getting tackled while he's out of bounds. Add on 15 to that run. Aiden Brooks, the senior linebacker, trying to chase down Bodie Weaver, but he surged right by the sideline, and that surely is going to be a 15-yard penalty. At least that appears to be the case as the flag flew toward the end of that play.
Not sure if they picked the flag up. It looks like they picked it up.
Oh no, they say late hit on the quarterback, and the personal foul for unnecessary roughness and the late hit on Bodie Weaver going out of bounds gives Colleyville inside the red zone, half the distance to the goal, so still in this ball game. Colleyville, they started at the 46-yard line, and Bodie Weaver with a run of 11, 10, 5, and then add a few more yards after that penalty as well. So it's been all Bodie Weaver's legs on this opening drive. Weaver with the snap, looks end zone, and it is hauled in for the touchdown. Panthers getting on the board. Trevi Prycia with the touchdown, and Connor Supacasey with the touchdown, and that's a score for the Panthers. They lead 6-0 on the Connor Supacasey grab for 6, his second touchdown of the year.
The Cougars were in cover 3 on that play, meaning there was going to be man-to-man coverage on the outside. He threw it up, and Connor Supacasey adds another touchdown to his resume this season.
Landon Dressel for the point after. As Colleyville looks to make it 7-0. The kick is up, and it is through. 7-0 lead for Colleyville. 9:57 to go in the first quarter. We'll be right back.
American Power. Texas Drive. Classic Chevrolet. #1 in the world. Limited time. A special selection of new Chevys. More than anyone. All priced below market value. Plus, pre-owned values are up again. We're paying top dollar for trades. You could upgrade to a lower payment. Get started now at ClassicChevrolet.com.
Back with you on Panther Friday night on Tradio. Colleyville getting into the end zone. A touchdown for the senior wide receiver, Connor Supacasey, on Bodie Weaver's first passing attempt of the game, and it goes for a score. So Weaver who had 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions last week. All 3 of those touchdowns coming in the second quarter. Adds another one to his resume. Colleyville striking first here in this district opener as Landon Dressel set to send this one deep. And it goes beyond the end zone, but a flag flies over on the far side as well. Colleyville getting penalized on the kickoff, and it looks like they'll have to re-kick this one from 5 yards back. Perhaps get an early start running down the field. The Tulsa commit Xavier Green back there deep to return. A very talented 3-star wide receiver. Does it in the return game, plays some defense for them as well. Really does it all. He's a 4-star in basketball, 3-star in football, headed to Tulsa.
He's an athlete. He is an athlete.
A lot of schools noticed that, both on the hardwood and gridiron. Tons of offers, and somebody certainly to watch out for, and another dynamic playmaker. The first couple of weeks, that's been a storyline on the other side. With Red Oak, obviously, their dynamic quarterback, and Braden Robinson heading to Notre Dame last week. You had Jayshon Gibson, who did have a couple of explosive touchdown plays last week. Aaron Brooks as well, a couple of Division I type guys, and then another one tonight. And the challenge and the big thing for Colleyville defensively in this game is winning the battle at the line of scrimmage, getting into the backfield, and obviously keying in on number 5 in white, Xavier Green, who really has just been a force to be reckoned with throughout his career with the Colony.
Oh, yeah.
He returns this one from about the 4-yard line. Brings this one out, and he's stopped up around the 24-yard line. That's where the Colony will set up on offense.
Throw a flag. There was some extra activity going on after the play. Some unnecessary activity going on. So we'll see who that's going to be called on.
And try to sort it out. 9:50 to go in the first quarter. Colleyville leading 7-0. It was a 12-yard touchdown pass to Connor Supacase to put Colleyville on the board. It was a 2nd and 10 after a penalty that gave Colleyville half the distance to the goal, which ended up being a dozen yards. And then on 2nd and 10 from the Cougars 12, Bodie Weaver throws a touchdown to Connor Supacase. The Panthers, they were penalized on the kickoff, had to re-kick. And then the Colony got the Cougars on a return across just about the 25, and now they have to back up. So they're penalized, and all in all, they'll have their first offensive snap come on a 1st and 10 from their own 12-yard line. And right away, a handoff to Kendrick McCloddon, and a tackle made by Isaiah Omar. A tackle for loss at that. -2 on the play. 2nd and 12 upcoming. Omar plunging through the line, and he wraps up the dynamic running back.
Yeah, Isaiah Omar continuing that momentum from last week. He had a nice game. He immediately gets in the backfield, and he sets up a 2nd and long for the Cougars.
Jalen Gaines, the quarterback, he keeps it himself, and the chase going for Gaines. It's knocked down eventually there by Eli Woolery, the sophomore defensive back, and Gaines using his leg to gain a 1st down.
Gaines doing his Bodie Weaver impression, watching highlights on the sideline.
It was Weaver who used his legs a lot on Colleyville's opening drive, then his arm to finish it off with a touchdown pass. Gaines getting pressured here and looks for the sideline. It's incomplete. Woolery in the coverage. Demarius Logan with the pressure that forced Gaines to flush himself out of the pocket. And that makes it 2nd and 10.
That's going to be the key tonight. Get after the quarterback, flush him out of the pocket, get him uncomfortable, and get him on the move, because once he's out of that pocket, he's going to be uncomfortable. He's going to be looking to throw that ball away or forcing it. And I think that was something that we missed in last week's game, but we did a phenomenal job of it in week 1.
Gaines with the snap. He throws it out to Xavier Green, and Green pushed out a play, initially contacted by Chase Gibson before Hayden West. Gives him a push out. Number 5, Xavier Green, went 50 catches for 837 yards and 9 touchdowns last year. Gets his first look of the night. Just had 19 yards last week, but had 152 in week 1.
Yeah, see, he's capable of having a big game. He is. He can go off. So they have to have their attention on him this week.
Chase Gibson covering. And McClellan shifty out of the backfield, and he cuts up the field. Hayden West able to wrestle him down, but not before Kendrick McClellan, who has had a monster first 2 weeks of the season, gets a big run between the tackles. He had 23 rushes for 176 yards last week, and somebody who is getting some Division I interest also put together a very quality week 1, 188 yards in week 1, 176 in week 2, so averaging about 180 on the ground per game, and another handoff right up the middle for Kendrick McClellan. Very speedy guy in the same ilk as Gerard Wiley.
And a tough runner, too. He brings those defenders with him, and he moves forward all the time. He's always falling forward. Very tough to bring down as well.
So 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Colleyville leading 7-0. Kendrick McClellan in the backfield with the junior quarterback Jalen Gaines, who got his first dose of being QB really last year, as it's a flag that flies. He also played receiver as well, athletic guy. But last year, Colleyville paying a visit to the Colony, and Carson Cox, the senior quarterback, goes down. Gaines got inserted into that game. Colleyville ends up winning 41-14. They jumped out to a 21-0 lead, and they have 4 interceptions in that game. Had some success against Gaines, but he got to play down the stretch that season until Cox came back, and now has the reins here this year. He had 650 yards and 5 touchdowns passing last year. He's got 314 through 2 weeks this season, and he throws that over the middle. Intended target for him was Tyler Osborne Jr., the senior wideout. Couldn't bring it in. Will Hummert was in coverage.
Yeah, he's definitely more comfortable now. He's got some games under his belt. He's got some experience, some varsity experience, and now in his junior season, he's just going to continue to develop, and he's going to continue to get better.
Six and a half to go in the opening quarter. Colleyville leading 7-0, 3rd and long. Gaines with the snap, pressure coming, trying to escape the pocket, throws it to the sideline, looking for Green, but he was not in bounds, pushed down by Hayden West, couldn't get a foot down. That'll make it 4th and long, and the Cougars send out the punting unit.
Yep, that's the key right there. Flush him out of the pocket, and he's going to have to be forced to make tough throws. That time he makes a good throw, but his receiver just couldn't get a foot in bounds, and that's exactly what you want from your defense. Great pursuit on the quarterback and great stop. Now there is a punt on 4th down.
So punted away by Marvin Mipta. And it goes out of bounds. Check that, Andres Gomez punting that one away. And the junior has it trickle out of bounds at the 34-yard line, where Colleyville will take over for their second drive of the evening here in this district opener, leading 7-0. 6:16 to go in quarter number one. Really solid first drive for the Panthers. They try to build on that, dating back to last week now. They've scored on 5 consecutive drives, and they'll try to keep that one up. Throw out to the near side. That's Lucas Sunwall, who gets wrapped up around the 36-yard line and give him maybe an extra yard after that, and a pickup of about 4 yards to a man who had a massive week here at Mustang Panther Stadium last week. And Lucas Sunwall, the brilliant one-handed catch, led the team with 83 receiving yards a week ago.
Oh, and if that game doesn't get suspended, he crosses that century mark for sure. And that catch right there should get him going tonight.
Gerard Wiley looking to get going. Finds the edge. Plenty of space. And the speedy Gerard Wiley up to Cougar territory. Gets to about the 43-yard line of the Cougars. Another explosive run for the track star, Gerard Wiley, the second-team All-District running back from a year ago. He also had a monster game on the ground last week, over 90 yards, helped out by a 69-yard touchdown run, and a big run right there for Wiley. Weaver checks down to Wiley, makes a man miss in the open field, and spins right around the 37-yard line. Be a couple yards shy, make it second and manageable.
I said it last week. You get Gerard Wiley the ball in space, good things always happen. And he picks up a nice gain on first down.
Under 5 to go in the first quarter. Colleyville leading 7-0. Bodie Weaver in the shotgun, standing next to Gerard Wiley, and a quick handoff to him, and he puts his shoulder pad down, gets to about the 35-yard line. That'll make it third and short as Gerard Wiley, he keeps that on the ground and obviously has plenty of ability to beat guys in the open field, but can do damage with those big holes the offensive line creates, as they did a week ago, trying to expand on that as it's a third and short here. And Wiley, he tumbles down right at the line of scrimmage, had some space, but now that'll set up a fourth down for the Panthers as he got tripped up and unable to get to the line to gain, which is the 34-yard line, with the nose of the football just shy of the 35. So Colleyville, fourth and short, they opt to go for it. Bodie Weaver going to keep it himself, and he moves forward. Looks like forward progress is going to have him enough for the first down despite being pushed back. And Bodie Weaver, another guy that can run behind the pads, and he does it right there and really just barreling himself for the first down on 4th and 1.
Yeah, not only does he run with speed and finesse, but he can also get physical. And we saw it last week as he ran over a guy in that game against North Richland Hills. So he's definitely a quarterback who can get physical and gritty.
A 7-0 lead for Colleyville, 3.5 to go in the first quarter. Weaver, another check out to Gerard Wiley. And the Cougars, they stop him up behind the line of scrimmage, swallowing Wiley for a loss of about a yard. Makes it 2nd and 11 upcoming for the Panthers.
That time, Sony Mendiola comes off the edge. He wraps Wiley up from his legs, and there was nowhere for Wiley to go. And then the rest of the Cougar gang came and brought him down. Great pursuit that time by the Cougars defense.
So Lucas Sunwall at the bottom of your screen. Landon Dressel lined up as well on the near side, but a handoff to Wiley, and getting into the backfield quickly is the Colony, and stopped up for nothing right there. Riley Stewart comes in and makes a great play. Nowhere to go, and he certainly wasn't fooled. And Stewart coming in for another loss. He had 3 tackles for loss last week. Has a big one right there to set up 3rd and long.
Yeah, he's definitely known for being disruptive. Like you said, 3.5 tackles for a loss last week. He is a big playmaker. He's going to be in that backfield a lot this game, so they're going to have to get some bodies on him.
On 3rd and 15, Bodie Weaver throws out to Landon Dressel, and he gets pushed out around the 33-yard line. Interesting area of the field. It's going to be 4th and about 9 yards to go. Not an area where you can attempt a field goal, or at least feel comfortable about it. Not an area where you want to punt the football either. But on 4th and 9, Colleyville, with the offense still out there, Lucas Sunwall along with Trevi Prycia on the near side. Gerard Wiley going in motion. And it's batted at the line of scrimmage. Pressure came, and it was Brennan Chung who comes up and deflects the pass away from Bodie Weaver. A turnover on downs for the Panthers on their 2nd drive.
Yeah, the Panthers were in no man's land. You don't want to punt the football there. You definitely don't want to kick a field goal from that far out. So you have to go for it. If you don't get it, it's not going to hurt you too bad. If you do pick it up, you keep those chains moving in. Try to punch it in. That time they just were unfortunate, and the ball was batted down at the line of scrimmage, so they weren't even able to see the play execute.
So 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the first quarter. 7-0 Colleyville leads, but the Colony with a big stop, turning Colleyville over on downs. They'll start at their own 34. Green comes in motion. Out to Green in the flat. And he musters himself up just shy of the 40-yard line. With Green in motion and Gaines back to throw. Had a good idea where the ball was going. And a pickup of just about 5 yards on that first down.
Xavier Green is a receiver that they love moving all around. They put him on the outside. They put him in the slot. They put him in the backfield. He runs in motion. He does it all. They try to find ways to get him the ball at all times.
And here's a handoff running right up the middle, and another good pickup of about 3 yards on the carry by the 6-foot, 200-pound senior running back Kendrick McClodden, who's really just had a decorated career with the Cougars, 700-plus rushing yards in each of the past 2 seasons. He's gotten in the end zone 15 times on the ground. And for his career, averages over 95 yards a game on the ground. Quick hit out to Green. That's enough for a first down as he's pushed out of bounds right around midfield by Hayden West. A flag is in on the play as well. So flagging on the play, the officials discussing it here with district play opening tonight. We have one district game in action last night. That was Arlington Seguin with a win over Burleson. So they're the first team to pick up a district win. And then as well, another matchup going on right now. Argyle, the Eagles, who went undefeated in district play last year, going up against Mansfield Timberview, who was a playoff team from a year ago, finished third behind Argyle, Colleyville. Then it was Timberview and then Seguin, and it's 7-0 in that game. Right now, Argyle has the lead in quarter number 2.
That is going to be a really, really good game. I can't wait to see the final result out of that one. I really think Mansfield Timberview is going to challenge a lot of teams this year, including Colleyville Heritage when we see them next week.
Indeed, we will. It's the end of the opening quarter. 7-0. Colleyville has the lead. This opening quarter brought to you by Texas Orthopedic. We'll be right back.
Do you have a dream of having a pool and a backyard oasis? Well, it's time to talk to the professionals at J. Caldwell Custom Pools. From new construction to remodeling to service and maintenance, J. Caldwell Custom Pools is your custom pool builder and outdoor living design expert, serving you with 2 locations, Hudson Oaks and Fort Worth, because life is too short for ordinary backyards. Dive in and find out more at jcaldwellcustompools.com.
We're back with you on Panther Friday night on Tradio alongside Tremel Jeffers. I'm Will Connerly. After one quarter of play, Colleyville leading 7-0. And so far in this ball game, if you're just joining us, Colleyville started with the football, put together a 9-play, 49-yard drive. Took a few minutes off the clock. They were up 7-0. It was all Bodie Weaver runs until he threw a touchdown pass, and touchdown pass to Connor Supacase from a dozen yards out put Colleyville up 7-0 after the Landon Dressel good PAT. And that's the score we still have now as we enter quarter number 2, because the Colony forced to punt on their first drive, and then Colleyville turned it over on downs on their second drive. And now the Colony starting their second drive, and they're picking up some momentum. You know they want to get the ball into the hands of their playmakers. Number 2 in the backfield, Kendrick McClodden, and number 5 on the perimeter. And really, like you said, Tremel, everywhere, Xavier Green, the wide receiver, number 5, committed to Tulsa, who was an all-district selection in this tough district a year ago. He had 61 yards and a touchdown against Colleyville a year ago. And like McClodden has put up really impressive numbers as well throughout his career. 800-plus yards and 9 touchdowns in each of the past 2 seasons. And so he's trying to do that again. 3 straight 800-plus, 9 touchdown years is a reason why he's a highly coveted athlete, a 4-star basketball player, and a 3-star player on the football field headed to Tulsa as we get ready to start this second quarter.
It's crazy to think that he's a better basketball player than he is a football player, because he's so good as a football player. And like you said, he averages 95 yards per game for his career. And this season, he is on pace to average over 100 yards per game. So he is a wonderful athlete, a great running back, great player, just an overall athlete. He is very talented.
Yeah, McClodden, impressive this year. He's getting some Division I interest. And then Green as well, committed to Tulsa. Those are the 2 weapons that really jump off the page at you, because McClodden, 186 yards on the ground per game, and then Green, already nearly 200 receiving yards this season, 171, along with a pair of scores. But it's Colleyville leading right now, and still a stoppage that's rather lengthy before we get this second quarter underway. Again, just the second drive of the game for the Colony. A team that won 46-0 against Keller Fossil Ridge in week 1. The offense exploded, which probably contributes to the big numbers from McClodden and Green, because They had 544 yards of offense in week 1, over 300 on the ground. In week 2, last week, they lost to Frisco Wakeland 24-14. They were up 14-3, but they were shut out in the second half and ended up losing in that game. They were penalized 12 times for almost 100 yards, and a critical turnover contributed to them allowing 21 unanswered points, including a kick return for a touchdown against a pretty formidable Wakeland team, a team they beat last year, and the Colony started 3-1, but their first year in this new district last year. Rudy Rangel, the head coach, and he's been around 3 decades, and he was playing a lot of teams that he wasn't used to playing when he came into this new district with Colleyville and Argyle, new setup, and they started 3-1. Then they kind of struggled in district play. Obviously, their quarterback went down, which certainly hurt them as well. And so now they're trying to come in more motivated to improve on their finish and claim one of those 4 coveted playoff spots after finishing 7th in 5A D2 a year ago here in this district out of 9 teams. And they played their first 2 games of the season on Thursday night, so a Friday night affair for the Cougars of Colony for the first time here this season, here in week number 3. So still a lengthy stoppage going on as we're in between the first and second quarter and still haven't got quarter number 2 underway just yet. Not sure what's going on right now.
Not sure at all. But to speak on the Cougars, it takes time as a new head coach to get acclimated and get used to the district and everything. Like you said, they started off 3-1, but they ended up falling off the cliff as the season went on. But in year 2, I think they will be a lot more competitive this year. I said it last week. This district is really going to be competitive. And the Cougars right now are showing that they're competitive. We're only up 7-0 right now. I know it's still early in the ball game, but last year this game was 46-0. We had our way with them last year.
It was an impressive win for Colleyville, and they forced a lot of turnovers in that game as well. But for Rangel, he's been around a while, but second year in this district. Mm-hmm. And so with all the new things, new teams you're playing, it is kind of like you're restarting in a way because you're not familiar with all those. And that's what's happening now with the redistricting every few years, and you get new opponents a lot of the time, and the Colony was a part of that, Colleyville as well. But they were a team that ended up starting 3-1, but they finished 4-6, going 1-5 in their final 6, and had a ton of guys injured, going 2-6 in district play. And still not sure why football action isn't happening. It looks like we're about to get it now. Of course, the team switched sides. There was a penalty marker at the tail end of that first quarter as well, and perhaps that was the discussion leading into quarter number 2, which looks like it's getting underway. Here in just a moment as they sort out the chains and everything of the like. This second quarter brought to you by Compass Church. And it's a 3rd down. A lot of confusion on both sides right now. And we've been waiting a while to just get this second quarter underway.
And we have another stoppage. I'm not sure what's going on right now. This is back-to-back weeks with delay after delay after delay.
Yeah, very curious to see what's going on. The officials are discussing it. It looks like both teams are wondering what down it is, what yard line it's going to be at, because there was a penalty marker at the end of the first quarter. And Colleyville, again, a team, they beat the Colony last year handily. They were up 21-0 early, end up winning 41-14. The Colony looks to be improved, obviously, with big weapons back, looking to start district playoff on the right foot. They come in 1-1. Colleyville, same thing. They come in 1-1 in their first 2 games against Red Oak. And then Richland were against powerful opponents that are postseason teams in recent memory as well. And Jerry Edwards, who's 21-6 in his career at Colleyville, now in year number 3. They've been really impressive in district play. They want to go undefeated in district play. That's their goal every single year, to win the district and be a contender in Region 1. And while in now starting his 3rd season of district action, they're 14-1 in district play under Jerry Edwards, 7-0 in district games at home here at Mustang Panther Stadium, and they look to make that 8-0 under Jerry Edwards in home district games here tonight, as it looks like we've got some football here for the second quarter starting here in just a moment.
I think so. I think we're ready now.
Ready for some action? Jalen Gaines and Xavier Green, along with Kendrick McCloudon, the big 3 weapons on the offense, all lined up in the backfield. Green goes in motion. A little miscommunication on the exchange, and coming in was Isaiah Omar to blow that play up. Omar with the initial hit. Camden Blackson then finished it off, and miscommunication on the chain exchange, and the front for Colleyville wasn't fooled on which looked like a read play by the quarterback, Jalen Gaines, and it goes for a loss.
Yeah, that time, Gaines and McCloudon, they were not on the same page, and they paid for it as the Panthers got in the backfield and got a stop for a loss.
So Will Hummer opts to not field the punt, and it rolls inside the 10-yard line. So Colleyville getting the ball with 11 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the second quarter. We'd like to shout out our great viewers here tonight on Tradio. Panther Friday Night on Tradio. Second quarter brought to you by Compass Church. I'm Will Connerly alongside Tramel Jeffers. Happy you're joining us tonight. Let us know where you're tuned in from across the land here to watch this district matchup this evening in the chat on YouTube, as we see Colleyville come out a 1st and 10. They're set up at the 15 after forcing the Colony to punt. So a couple drives and a couple punts for the Colony. And now Bodie Weaver back to pass. And he has space to run. He runs up the field. He's got more space. Bodie Weaver turning on the Jets. And these legs of Bodie Weaver working at a high level. He charges ahead for a massive gain.
Yeah, a play that looked like it was going for 15 yards, just tripled that amount as he turns on the Jets and just runs right down the sideline. Almost beat the last safety. He could have took it to the house, but his angle was cut off just at the last minute. What a run by Bodie Weaver. He's showing you that he is an athlete and a dual threat quarterback.
His legs, probably the most impressive improvement we've seen in his game here this year. Now Gerard Wiley looking for the edge. He stays on his feet, cuts up the other way, going against the grain for a big gain inside the 35-yard line. And back-to-back explosive, powerful runs. And another big burst as Gerard Wiley thunders forward to get up to about the 33-yard line.
Back-to-back explosive plays, back-to-back explosive runs. That time, Gerard Wiley gets on the edge. He takes it up the field. He runs into his blocker. He cuts it back in the middle, and he picks up a couple more yards. Huge play for Gerard Wiley.
Bodie Weaver in the backfield next to Gerard Wiley. A 1st and 10. Landon Dressel going in motion. Bodie Weaver stepping up in the pocket, looking down the field, and it's caught for a touchdown. Lucas Sunwall, back-to-back weeks. He finds 6 in a big-time 33-yard score. Colleyville up 13-0.
That was the play Bodie Weaver wanted the entire time. That was all on Bodie Weaver that time. He maneuvers out the pocket. He steps up in the pocket. He scrambles to the left, and he was waiting for Sunwall to get right there down that middle. He finds him wide open in the middle for a touchdown. What a play. Great read by Bodie Weaver.
Lucas Sunwall, north of 100 yards on the season now, just 3 varsity games under his belt. We were talking about it last week. In the scrimmage, he really shined. Last year, he shined at the junior varsity level. And coming into this year, a lot of expectations on him. And now he's stepped into a bigger role here early in the season, as it's the second consecutive year that Colleyville's probably lead receiver that you would think going in suffers an injury. Braden Blewett last year. Samir Johnson, the lead returning receiver, gets hurt in week 1. Enter Lucas Sunwall to start and get big looks last week. He had a massive gain, 83 yards in just about a half in a shortened game. And here he picks up his second catch of the night, and it's a 33-yard score. He was wide open. Bodie Weaver had plenty of time as he kept his eyes down the field. And the sophomore Lucas Sunwall, his second score of the season, and back-to-back weeks, the sophomore finding 6, and Colleyville up now 14-0 after the PAT was good by Landon Dressel.
Yes, I told you before the season started, there is no way that this kid was playing on JV. How was he still on JV? I was so excited to see him get his opportunity on varsity. He showed it in week 1 against Red Oak, and then last week he just took off, and he's continuing that momentum. And you notice on all of his touchdowns, he's getting open down the middle of the field. That is his bread and butter, right down the middle.
This is returned here by Green. One bounce to him, and now he's got space. Xavier Green. He now holds the sprint button, and he's going to be untouched up the sideline. Xavier Green, 100-yard touchdown return on a bouncing kick. It was into the hands of Green. There is a flag down on the play right around the 32-yard line, but Xavier Green with a massive 100-yard return.
Now this one's going to come back. Yeah, they called holding, so yeah, this one's going to come back, but man, that was still impressive. Green just showed you why he is a P4 commit or a D1 commit at Tulsa. He is so explosive. He's so good as a receiver, as a basketball player, as a kick returner, as a punt returner. This guy can do it all. I told you, their game plan is to get the ball in Green's hands, find ways to get him in motion, find ways to get him the ball. And when he has the ball in his hands, he makes good things happen. But unfortunately for the Cougars, there was a holding penalty, so this one is going to come back, and now they're going to have to drive the length of the field.
They will try to drive the length of the field, Trammell, but it kind of makes you wonder. You're probably not wanting to kick the ball to Xavier Green anymore. It was an interesting kickoff because it bounced, and it looks like the idea, but it was a good bounce into the hands of the senior wideout, Xavier Green, who is just so explosive. You saw it right there. And the Tulsa commit, though, a holding penalty wipes away what would have been an 100-yard touchdown return. Green going in motion here. Colleyville, nobody following him. So Waldery now going to be on the coverage. And looks like ball is down, and Colleyville picks it up. Demarius Logan with a fumble recovery, and Colleyville puts the pigskin on the carpet, and the Panthers come up with another turnover. The defense with another opportunity to give the offense a short field. Demarius Logan recovers the fumble.
Demarius Logan, he is always making big time plays every single week. He is right there in the middle. He takes the football away, and he puts this Colleyville Heritage Panthers team in good field position, and they can go up 3 scores right here and take a commanding lead.
Well, Colleyville took a commanding lead 1 year ago. They went up 21-0 on the road at the Colony, trying to replicate that performance, and they did it because of turnovers, and they did it in part because of Demarius Logan, one of his best games of the year. A reason why he was an all-district defensive end and the district MVP in the preseason for defense for this district. He had 3 sacks in the game a year ago. He gets into the backfield right there on a Gaines run, and now Bodie Weaver, misdirection, give it off to Hayden West, and West slipping up the field, and he breaks a tackle at the 10-yard line, still on his feet, before he gets pushed back. Much ado about a 2-yard run, but Colleyville getting creative, getting the ball into their hands of their D1 defensive back, Hayden West.
Yeah, great design. I love the play design. That was one of the most impressive 2-yard gains I've seen. It looked like he was going to lose a lot of yardage. He was able to break a couple of tackles and stay on his feet, and then eventually the Cougars gang tackled him down, and he picks up 2.
So Colleyville looking to take advantage of a short field. A fumble recovery had him start at the 12. Now here's a handoff. Gerard Wiley. He is pushed down. Brennan Chung's been active in this game for the Cougars. And he chases down Gerard Wiley. And really, it wasn't a forced fumble as much as it was another miscommunication on the exchange. The Colony with Gaines, they liked the RPOs, and it looks like he had the ball in the belly of McClodden, maybe tried to pull it back, and the ball then was loose. And a couple of times we've seen some miscommunications with that RPO and those option plays as Weaver fires, end zone incomplete. Intended target once again, Sunwall. Unable to make the grab, but a beautiful ball toward the corner of the end zone.
It was. They love those fade plays, and they hit on them a lot of times, so I'm not mad at it at all. Just good coverage, a good pass breakup on that play right there.
So on 4th down, Colleyville going to settle for a field goal try. A 25-yard try here from Landon Dressel. Dressel 2 for 2 on the year on field goal tries. This one is up, and it is through. So Colleyville extends their lead. They're up 17-0 as they've put another score on the board. Landon Dressel now 3 for 3 on the year on field goals. And so what a big change in this game. After you go up 14-0, kick the ball off, think it's a 14-7 game immediately. Xavier Green looked like he had a kickoff return for a touchdown for the Colony for 100 yards. Really wasn't even touched on the play that wasn't a play because a holding call then put the Colony back, and then immediately they put the ball on the turf. Demarius Logan recovers, and Colleyville looking to get creative right there in the red zone. Joey Nisbet came out there on that last play, and then you had Hayden West as well, and obviously then they set up for the field goal. Landon Dressel able to knock that one through, but Lucas Sunwall, another opportunity for a touchdown, and he looks like he's going to be, if anything else, didn't go through, could have had his second touchdown grab of the day. Looks like he's going to be a big target in the red area, along with, of course, you would think the big tight end and Blake Wendler. Anyway, 25-yard field goal goes in for Landon Dressel, and Colleyville up 17-0. So if you're a Panther fan right now, you've got to be pleased with the way Bodie Weaver is playing. He's doubled his rushing yard per game average from a year ago, and it looks like he's just going to annihilate what he did on the ground. He showed some bursts last year of what he's doing with his legs, but it's completely different here in another year of this offense, and it looks like he's being encouraged to run more, and they're setting him up with opportunities to do it. And his legs have opened everything up because you can't forget it's a guy who can throw for 20 touchdown passes as well as he did a year ago. And they look pretty good on offense. Settle for a field goal right there. You probably dock that as a win for the Colony, not trying to go down 21-0 and giving Colleyville the ball at the 12. As they kick it off out of the end zone, and they'll have a touchback to set up their next offensive drive looking for a response. But Colleyville offense looking pretty good, Trammell.
Oh, yeah, they are a completely different offense when Bodie Weaver is running the football. Like you said, he's pretty much doubled his rushing total this season per game. I mean, the design runs that they have for him, they are working. And then his ability to move out of the pocket, when he's getting flushed out of the pocket, he's able to make big plays. He showed you the speed on that last drive as he picked up a 45-yard gain. This guy has wheels on his legs, and he's showing it a lot this year.
So Jalen Gaines will try to show something in response. The Colony with the football, down 17-0, and Xavier Green getting wrapped up in a tackle by the arm of DeMarche Logan, the brother of Demarius, and a tackle for loss at that. As you see the Colony trying to get creative as well, Trammell, trying to put the ball in the hands of Xavier Green, even out of the backfield, but nowhere to go. DeMarche Logan coming in that time for the big stop.
Yeah, that's the key. I told you, they're going to try to find ways to get him the ball at all times. So the Panthers are locked in, and they know it's coming.
High snap, Gaines gets rid of it quickly, and it's Green who eventually gets pulled down. Eli Wollery just had a hold of his right foot. Didn't let him go anywhere, but another grab for Xavier Green, and they're certainly targeting number 5. He gets the first 2 looks here on this drive, but now a third down awaiting. 4 up to the top of the screen, and Gaines throwing it far side. It's caught by Osborne. He has some space, and Osborne across the 40-yard line. Tyler Osborne Jr., the senior wide receiver who leads the team with 3 touchdown receptions this year. He had 5 catches for 28 yards, which, if you would believe it, that led the team last week. Green had a slow last week, a big week 1, but a big catch right there. And they set up in the same formation. Now Gaines going to take it himself and pick up about 4 yards. The pile pushes back, but the forward progress has him up to about the 47-yard line. 6:50 to go here in the second quarter, and a second down and 6 upcoming for the Colony.
The Cougars really aren't doing a bad job of moving the ball down the field. They're able to get some plays going and moving the chains a little bit, but they just can't put points on the board. It's the turnovers, the miscommunication that hurts them, the penalties. There's just a lot of blocks and obstacles that are getting thrown in their way as they go through drives, and that's why they're stuck at 0 points so far.
So it's a flip up and stopped up in the backfield. Joey Nisbet going to get credited with the tackle for loss. They tried to put the ball into the hands of Ryan Kessler. And the junior wide receiver with nowhere to go. His second attempt on the ground this season. On that sweep, he comes in. And that ends up being a loss. It sets up a 3rd and long here.
And that's what's been killing them, those negative plays. They get plays going, they move the chains, and then, boom, there's back-to-back negative plays.
3rd and long. Gaines flushed out of the pocket. Pressure coming. Omar trying to chase him down. Now here comes Camden Blackson, who pushes him out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage, and a late flag comes in. And that is a dagger. It looks like Colleyville had the Colony off the field, and now some pushing and shoving going on the far side. Little extracurricular action happening. District play, making things hot and heavy.
There's about 4 flags on the field. A lot of extracurricular activity going on.
You hate to see that. You really do. I mean, the flag comes in because Jalen Gaines is going out of bounds. Trammell, what'd you see there? Because it did not look egregiously late on the hit out of bounds. His momentum carrying out of bounds, the tackler there across the way. The late flag, initial flag, comes because of the late hit.
Right.
That's the flag. That, to me, was the debatable call. However, then after the play, some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties look like they're going to be coming in with all the pushing and shoving after the play. What'd you see there, Trammell?
Of course. Yeah, that time on the sideline, it looked like Gaines was headed out of bounds. There was nowhere for him to go. I didn't really think the hit was necessary. I agree with the refs throwing the flag on that play. I thought he should have just let him go out of bounds. He was already headed out, and then they're going to go punt on 4th down. You already had him stopped. I didn't think the hit was necessary, but they're probably going to give them a 1st down. We got to see what the flags will be for the extra activity So we'll see what they end up calling and deciding to do.
It's a really tough play, too, because if you're the defender and someone like Jalen Gaines, who is athletic, and they're tiptoeing up the sideline, quarterbacks have mastered that ability. Some of them can, to keep running up the sideline and then at the last minute make that action towards the sideline. And you don't know, as a defender, going full speed trying to chase down a speedy quarterback, you want to finish the tackle and finish the play. And so it's obviously a lot of flags coming in. They're going to have to sort some things out here. But a tough break, especially there if you're Colleyville. Now, we don't know what the consequences of these unsportsmanlike penalties and who they're going to be on there. There's going to be a ton to sort out in that regard. But just the initial call, it was interesting, and no replay tonight on Tradio Panther Friday night, or we would certainly take another look at that one to show you fans here, because that is always something where you got to appreciate Camden Blackson chasing him down, and he had nowhere to go. The pressure came. Isaiah Omar, everybody got into the backfield, the entire defensive line, and so he had to move out of the pocket, and he did and got nowhere. Yeah, just to the line of scrimmage. But in terms of how you would assess this, if the call is what we think, Trammell, which would be in the field of play, a late hit on the quarterback going out of bounds, that would give it an automatic first down. And then if there were any additional penalties, which there were thrown, and we're waiting to see what they were called, perhaps they're on both teams and they could offset, then the field position should be adjusted after that. So I would think that the Colony would have a first down here, but we'll see what the flag is, and maybe if it came in after the play, because it did come in rather late, and that was one thing that I saw a problem with, is it came in a little bit late, Trammell, after he was out of bounds, then they let the flag fly. So we're still waiting to see, to sort this out. 17-0 ball game, Colleyville with the lead. 5:24 to go here in this second quarter.
Yeah, and I think it was just a little bit more dramatic because it was on the Cougars sideline. I think if the roles were reversed, if this happened on the Panthers sideline, maybe that call isn't made, or maybe it isn't as dramatic, but it was on the Cougars sideline, so of course the bench was going to go crazy, as they did. The coaching staff is going to be all upset, and I think the refs might have had to lean in and go with what the coaches were arguing.
Yeah, that's, and so they have it as fourth down. So, and the field position didn't, well, he was out of bounds right around the line to gain. And now it's a little bit above that. So maybe the spot, at least from our vantage point, was a little bit different. But after all those flags and all that stoppage, it's a fourth down, and the punting unit is out. So all that extracurricular and the flags that flew after the play and the pushing and shoving, it ends up just being a punt, Trammell.
Wow. Definitely wasn't what I expected. I think the Cougars got bailed out, or excuse me, not the Cougars. I think the Panthers got bailed out on that play, or on that decision.
Yeah, maybe it was all flags after the fact.
Okay.
With the pushing and shoving, and maybe it wasn't what we thought. Maybe that flag that came in, what we thought was late for a late hit on the quarterback going out of bounds, maybe that was just flags on both teams for pushing and shoving after the play. And if so, then it would make sense that really it would be a net negative. That's probably what the case was. One way to explain how it was still fourth down. But yeah, there's been a lot of interesting things in this game. The Colony starts off with an onside kick. We have a mini halftime between the first and second quarter for a reason we don't know why. And then that whole debacle right there, Trammell, which ends up giving Colleyville the ball. So Bonnie Weaver with the snap. Throws it toward the sideline, looking for, that is Trevi Prycia, number 3. But it's incomplete. 2nd and 10 upcoming, 5:07 to go here in the second quarter. Colleyville with a 17-0 lead. Colleyville scored on their first drive, turned it over on downs on drive number 2. And a score on drive 3. And there is a roughing the passer call, Trammell.
Wow.
We were looking for one of those, I guess the runner running out of bounds, the quarterback just a moment ago. There comes a roughing the passer call after a first down incomplete play to put Colleyville up to the 45-yard line. And Gerard Wiley bouncing off one of his blockers and then just running up the chute up to the 45-yard line. That moves the chains, and Gerard Wiley can just break free, and you can see it when he's in open space, a scary sight.
He can. He shows great vision on that play. He was trying to get something on the right side between the guards. He had to shift over and move over outside to the left.
And that's complete to Connor Supacasey, who caught a touchdown earlier in this game. Bodie Weaver looking really good right now. On time, in sync, on schedule, the Colleyville offense. The defense has really been excellent in this game as well, limiting some talented playmakers on the other side for the Colony. And Bodie Weaver looking good. He's 6 for 8 so far in this game with a pair of scores, and he looks for another here. Deep shot down the field. It's another touchdown for Colleyville. The second of the game for Lucas Sumwall, and a 37-yard touchdown. Lucas Sumwall with a couple of big scores tonight, and Colleyville running away with this one in quarter number 2.
And what part of the field did Lucas Sumwall score on? Down the middle, again, his bread and butter. Great play by Bodie Weaver. He fooled the defensive line on that play-action handoff. He rolls to the right, and he has a wide-open Lucas Sumwall down the middle. Great execution on that play. 23-0, pinning the extra point.
PAT, good. Colleyville dominating here in this one. Bodie Weaver looking good. In these last 2 weeks, Trammell, as good as he's looked, in my opinion, in his career as a Colleyville Heritage Panther. Got the keys to the offense a year ago as a junior quarterback, starting for the first time. A complete offseason coming into this year. Had the commitment under his belt now to UTEP. And the first-team All-District quarterback certainly looking as advertised. And back-to-back weeks, 3 touchdown passes. And that matches a career high for him. 4th time in his career he's had 3 touchdown passes. That's tying a career high, and they've come in back-to-back weeks. And Lucas Sumwall, I think, is somebody that, after tonight, certainly around the district, he's not going to be a secret much longer. An explosive weapon for the Panthers, and another big-time touchdown for the sophomore.
Yes, and Bodie Weaver, after that first game against Red Oak, that was statistically his worst game that he's ever played on varsity. And then he comes back the next week in a big matchup against North Richland Hills, and he plays extremely well. And then you come into district play, he's got that momentum going, he is still rolling, and he's showing you why he was first team All-District, and he's gonna most likely get it again this year in 2025.
Calling it early here in week 1. Bodie Weaver certainly playing like it tonight. Lucas Sumwall certainly making a case. We know it's a long season, just chapter 1 of 8 here in district play. But Bodie Weaver so far today, I mean, this is a good line. If you're looking for a quarterback to go out, and we tell you a couple of hours ago, how's Bodie Weaver playing tonight? What if we told you, Trammell, well, he's 7 for 10. For 105 yards and 3 scores. You'd say that's pretty good. Said, oh, that didn't tell the full story. He's got 66 yards on the ground as well. So 170 total yards for Bodie. He's pretty much had all the yards for Colleyville in this game. Gerard Wiley also 46 on the ground. But Bodie Weaver, 100 in the air, 66 on the ground, and 3 scores. I mean, excellent. 7 of 10. He's been efficient.
And I'm pretty sure he has a perfect passer rate as well if they had that stat in high school.
You could try to do the calculations. 70% completion on 3 touchdowns, 7 attempts. And yeah, that does track as pretty good, Trammell.
Pretty high for sure. Pretty high for sure.
Will Kennedy ends up making the tackle there on the run up the gut. Kendrick McLeod, who they've contained tonight, just 4 carries for 20 yards, or 5 carries, for 20 yards after that tote of the rock. For someone coming in that had over 11 yards per carry I mean, somebody coming in that had 370 yards in 2 games. Throw to the outside, it's Xavier Green. And he puts the football down on the turf, and Colleyville looks like they come up with it once again, and they do. The Panthers are making plays on defense. Xavier Green fumbles, and the Panthers set up the offense once again.
And again, the Cougars are just shooting themselves in the foot. Another turnover. That is the 3rd turnover of the day for the Cougars, and they turn it over in their own territory, and now the Panthers offense is going to have short field again where they've made the Cougars pay.
Colleyville Heritage looking really good. Panther Friday night on Tradio, and the Panthers are having a pretty good Friday night right now. Another turnover in a game that the Colony turned it over 4 times a year ago. But excuse me, looks like it was Colleyville who ended up being, must have been ruled Trammell down or incomplete, and it's not, ends up being a turnover. So scratch everything we just said, and it's going to be a 3rd down instead. Looked like they had it, and we'll be honest, don't have the ambient sound pumped into our ears, and so you can get deceived when a quarterback, at least on our end, and you can get deceived when a quarterback or when the team is celebrating, right?
Yeah.
That happens sometimes on defense. Everybody can celebrate, but then for a moment, you're like, oh, the officials are the ones who make the call, and they ended up having a different idea there, so apologies for that. Colleyville got excited, and it's a 24-0 advantage for the Panthers. A 3rd down in the works here for Gaines and company. 4:05 to go, quarter number 2, 3rd and 7 awaiting. Gaines, short little drop. He was looking for Xavier Green, tried to put some touch on that one, and still unable to get it to his playmaker. So end result will be the Panthers still getting the ball back. Another punt upcoming for the Cougars.
Yeah, he tried to put some air on it. It was just a little bit too much, and it was out of reach from Gibson. That was a big 3rd down for the Cougars. They really needed to convert there, because you don't want to go into halftime down by 4 scores or 5 scores if the Panthers end up scoring another touchdown.
Well, have plenty of time to do it. Just 3:59 to go. The 2-minute timeout, of course, still in the works. And that's a bad snap on the punt and trying to get that one off. And Colleyville looking to pick it up and just pop it on the pigskin was Aiden Gibson. And Colleyville will have great field position upcoming here because the punter, Andres Gomez, he picked it up off the turf. It went behind him, and he tried to get it off, was unable to. And so Colleyville, I guess one way to put it, Trammell, is they're in business right now. Goal to go set up for the Panthers here.
Yeah, just a lot of miscues from this Cougars team. They're really shooting themselves in the foot. They're really hurting themselves. That time they had an opportunity to punt the ball, set Colleyville back a little bit, and make them work to get their yards. But now they've gifted them with perfect field position as they will start it in the red zone with another truck.
Bodie Weaver in the gun, handoff to Gerard Wiley, and he doesn't get touched until he puts his head down across the goal line for a touchdown. Right down the throat of the Cougars defense. Now, they didn't have much yards they needed to gain. Gerard Wiley did it all right there, bursting through the line of scrimmage, and he plunges himself into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, just plunged it straight down the middle. He was untouched. There was nobody there to touch him. Great blocking by the offensive line to create the hole. He gets in, and Colleyville is up big with a 31-0 lead.
Colleyville playing really well, and Trammell being just honest in this game. Looking on paper, coming in, district home opener. Colleyville under Jerry Edwards has never lost a district home game. They've been really good under him just in general. And they were the second team in the district last year, going up against a Colony team that certainly struggled with in-district play last year, 2-6, but obviously a ton of injuries, and it looked like perhaps improved. And just on paper, and it's obviously so hard to predict things in high school football, but just having conversations throughout the week, understood that Colleyville favored in this game at home against the Colony. However, up 31-0 with 3:46 to go in the second quarter is not the type of heavy favorite that I think many were expecting. And they're putting on a pretty impressive performance tonight and taking advantage, like you said, Trammell, of those miscues. Multiple turnovers leading to 6 points and 7 points with the PAT. And they've got a couple of touchdowns off turnovers in this game.
Yeah, and I know it's 31-0. I know Colleyville is the better team, but this Cougars team really isn't that bad. They're actually competing. They're getting drives going, but then it's those negative plays that knock them back. They lose a 6-yard gain. They lose 6 yards on a play. Then the next play is -5 yards, and now they're facing a 3rd and long. And then, boom, there's a turnover. It's just so many miscues, so many turnovers. They're just shooting themselves in the foot. They're really not a bad football team at all.
I agree. They do have plenty of talent, but shooting themselves in the foot, and that's the mark of a team that struggles sometimes, when you can make those miscues. And another thing that hasn't been a miscue tonight, watch the line of scrimmage when the Cougars are on offense and Colleyville's on defense, i.e. right now. The line of scrimmage, I mean, the Cougars aren't blowing the defensive line of Colleyville off the ball at all. They are penetrating and dominating in the trenches right now. Tons of tackles for loss, pressure on the quarterback, and that has contributed to some of the turnovers and quick decisions that Jalen Gaines, the quarterback who gets the snap, has to make. And he looks to get some space to the outside, and he tumbles down. Before Chase Gibson can make the tackle, he just falls down across the 30. But the line of scrimmage has been dominated by the Colleyville front in this game, and that's contributed to what is still a 0 on the scoreboard for the Cougars right now.
Yeah, it starts with the battle of the trenches, and you know it starts with that guy, that big guy in the middle, Demarius Logan. He's a game wrecker, a top 10 defensive lineman in Dave Campbell's rankings, the defensive MVP for the preseason. He's showing you why he has all those accolades and awards to his name.
Gaines back to throw and looking for Green. It's a drop. Dax Hebeson in the area, along with another Panther defender back there, but incomplete, 3rd down. There's Colin Bennett as well in the area. A guy a couple of seasons ago really toted the rock for them at a high level. Also in the backfield a year ago, before Gerard Wiley really took over as the bell cow in the backfield for this team. He's playing in coverage right now as Gaines steps up in the pocket, throws a pop fly down the sideline, and unable to get it to his guy. And it's incomplete. And just a frustrating evening for the Cougars right now. Kedrick McClodden trying to leak out of the backfield down the sideline right there for the running back. And the Cougars going to punt once again.
Yeah, there was nothing on that play. 3rd and long. Gaines was looking for a big play. It was never there. The safety was covered. The safety had coverage. The corner had good coverage on the play. He was just looking for a big play, couldn't find anything, didn't get enough air on the ball either.
And the punt is shanked, and it rolls all the way back to about the 18-yard line. And just a tough break on special teams once again, Trammell.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was a punt for negative yardage. That was a punt for -3 yards. It's just everything is going wrong in special teams for the Cougars. Just a lot of things that they need to clean up. If they could get those miscues down, the turnovers, and just the mistakes, this would be a real competitive ball game right now. But they've really dug themselves a deep hole.
They
and that's
have.
why it looks like this right now.
And it could get deeper right now because Colleyville starts in the red zone. But 5 punts tonight, or at least setting up in punt formation. This last one goes for negative yards. The one before that, they couldn't get a punt off, and they just had to hop on the football, and Colleyville started in the red area. Connor Supacasey with the catch. He's breaking inside the 5-yard line, stretches out for the goal line, and Connor Supacasey has a pair of scores tonight as Colleyville punches it in. A 17-yard score. It's all Panthers. They're up 37-0.
Connor Supacasey, he has a knack for the end zone. They find him a quick screen. He gets great blocking. He just takes it the rest of the way. He carries a couple of defenders with him at the end, and he finds another score. He's got 2 scores tonight, and he can get more as the game continues.
So it's a career high 4 touchdown passes for Bodie Weaver this evening, and we're not to halftime yet. He has put it together a night to remember. Connor Supacasey with a pair of touchdown receptions. The PAT is converted. That's Andrew Roy on the point after. And a 38-0 lead. It's all Panthers in the district opener. 2.5 to go in the second quarter.
Do you have a dream of having a pool and a backyard oasis? Well, it's time to talk to the professionals.
Join us each week to experience great music, a message that applies to your everyday life, as well as programs for your kids and students to engage on their level. Learn more at compass.church.
We're back with you, Panther Friday night on Tradio. And the 6'3", 210-pound first-team All-District quarterback, Bodie Weaver. He's a multi-sport athlete in his own right, headed to the next level, playing at UTEP, and matched a career high with 3 touchdown passes a week ago. Wasn't good enough. Why? 4 touchdown passes tonight, and we're just in the first half. Bodie Weaver having a night to remember, and he's a big story in this one. Colleyville leading 38-0, 2.5 to go in the second quarter. And Trammell, you commented on his passer rating, so to speak. So let's get another check-in on the numbers right now. 8 of 11 for Bodie Weaver, 122 yards, and yes, 4 scores for him. Your thoughts?
I mean, he's playing a perfect game. He's making great decisions. He's deceiving the safeties with his eyes and allowing his receivers to get open. He's maneuvering out of the pocket. He's running the football. He's showing you that he's got wheels. He can turn up the jets. I mean, he's doing everything and showcasing why he is a dual threat quarterback. He's having a fantastic game today.
180 total yards passing and running combined in 4 touchdowns. We're not even to halftime yet for Bodie Weaver, but a new career high in throwing scores for him. Looking for a throwing score here, and Jalen Gaines not on the same page as Xavier Green. Colin Bennett and Hayden West going back to track that one, nearly an interception. But it was even outstretched of the high safety back there is clearly a miscommunication, which has been part of the issue tonight for the Colony. A turnover that leads to a score. Then they end up having a bad punt, 2 bad punts, one that didn't even get off, and they had to hop on. Colleyville starts at the 12. A negative 3-yard punt to allow Colleyville to start in the red zone. I mean, their starting field position tonight has been excellent. Even to start the game, the Colony, they went for an onside kick, and Colleyville started around midfield. So they've obviously had great field position tonight, and that's probably what they've done better than anything else, just that last play. Kendrick McLeod, who dominated through 2 weeks, has 6 carries now for about 23 yards. So when you hold a guy to under 4 yards a carry that was previously getting 11, you're doing a really good job, and that's what he's done here with 2:14 to go in the second quarter and a timeout call.
Yeah, and now the Cougars are looking for those big plays, and the Panthers know it. So they're playing off coverage. You see they show a lot of attention to Xavier Green. They're having a lot of attention on him. They're making sure that he doesn't beat them deep and beat them for a big play. So the Cougars are going to have to find more guys to get involved. They're going to have to find somebody else to get involved because Green is not going to be that guy that's going to get free.
They have other weapons, Tyler Osborne, Vincent Canzano, who was a second-team All-District tight end. Last year has some Division I offers, 6'5", 220. It's just been hard tonight. They've obviously got some good prospects on their offensive line. Kelvin Iwo is a big-time prospect. They've got some guys. It's just you've got to give a lot of credit. As much as we talk about all these accolades tonight for the Colony, and they do have some impressive playmakers, when you look at the numbers, Colleyville's defense has shined brighter. And that is the focus tonight, is that they have playmakers too. Demarius Logan, a good football, and they've made enough plays and much more plays than the Colony, evident by the scoreboard. Joey Nisbet breaking through the line on the blitz. Gaines having to run for everything, and Dax Hebeson with an interception. What a brilliant play by the Panthers defense. Joey Nisbet blowing things up, forcing the pressure, and Dax Hebeson with the interception. What a play by the Panthers. Nisbet just was untouched with a free rush to Gaines, and Dax Hebeson, who had a pair of interceptions a year ago, with one right there. And speaking of good field position, Colleyville going to start at the 28-yard line.
A middle linebacker blitz with Joey Nisbet. He runs straight up the middle, untouched. He flushes Gaines out of the pocket. Gaines just forces a throw up in the air, and Dax Hebeson snags it, and he returns it for about 20 to 25 yards, and he gives the Panthers offense another opportunity to score with great field position. The Panthers defense has really come to play tonight.
We are just talking about playmakers on the Colony. Time to talk about those playmakers on that Panther defense, and they are fighting extremely hard tonight, playing really well. Bodie Weaver, after the Dax Hebeson interception, throws this one, caught by Connor Supacase inside the 10-yard line, and a brilliant completion right there as he continues to maintain his efficiency as we've reached a timeout.
He's just taking what the defense is giving him. That offensive line is doing a fantastic job of blocking. Like you said, it starts in the trenches. We're dominating on the defensive line. We're dominating on the offensive line. They're giving Bodie Weaver all day to throw the ball. And on that play, he just moves out the pocket, and he finds his open man because he had all day to throw the ball.
And so a 1st and goal for Colleyville. They have been impressive tonight, the Panther defense. So they forced 2 turnovers, Trammell. One, a fumble that they picked up. Right there, a Dax Hebeson interception. And as we're mentioning playmakers for the Colleyville defense, how about Joey Nisbet through 2 games? Double-digit tackles on average through 2 games, 11 a game on average. And then Dax Hebeson, their lead tackler from last year, that second level of the defense, doing everything there. The linebacker blitz and then the linebacker interception. I mean, a couple of turnovers tonight, an interception, a fumble recovery, plus taking advantage of huge blunders for the Colony on special teams. And they have a chance to put up over 40 points in the first half, leading 38-0 with 1:51 to go in the second quarter. They've got 1st and goal here upcoming. And so it just, it's hard to describe how impressive it's been on defense, but then offensively as well. I mean, every phase of the game's looked good. And I think if you're Colleyville, you've got to feel like you're very battle-tested after going up against really good opponents in your quote-unquote warm-up games in non-district. And to now have Bodie Weaver reach a career high in passing touchdowns and do it in the first half, looks like he is on a mission to start district play. Low snap for Bodie Weaver here on a 1st and goal. Weaver now stepping up in the pocket. Looks like he's going to run it in for a score. And he does. Bodie Weaver from 8 yards out punches it in. His 5th touchdown that he's responsible for here in the first half. 4 through the air, 1 there on the ground from 8 yards out. And the Panthers continue to roll here in the first half.
5 total touchdowns in the first half for Bodie Weaver. That's got to be a career high. 5 touchdowns in general for Bodie Weaver.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 3 was a career high passing.
Passing, yeah.
And then I think 4 was his career high total.
And now he's got 5.
And now he's got 5 in the first half. I mean, at this point, Colleyville up very handily in this game. And, I mean, it has just been very, very impressive. That's really one way to describe it. Career high of touchdowns responsible for, career high of passing touchdowns, all in the first half. And the characters he's doing it with as well. Connor Supacasey wasn't a guy big in the mix a year ago. He's looking great. Lucas Sunwall, first varsity touchdown last week. He's got a pair of scores tonight. Gerard Wiley's punched one in. I mean, it has looked really good for Colleyville on offense after you felt there was some concern after 1 week.
Yeah.
And the last 2 weeks have shown that you do it against a pretty good Richland team, 30 points in about a half. I mean, they didn't play the second half. And then, or they did just a little bit in the third quarter. And now 45.5 against the Colony. I mean, both faces looking good, but I think we can declare Bodie Weaver as our player of the game already.
Oh, easily, for sure. No question about it. No question about it. And Coach Edwards said it after the first game in that pregame last week. He said, I just think that first game was just first game jitters. A lot of new faces on varsity playing their first career varsity game. And that's a lot of miscommunication in that game as well. It was just the first game jitters pretty much. And that's kind of why they weren't successful. They couldn't find a lot of success in that first game. But they took off last week, and here today again, it is the same thing. So I kind of agree with Coach Edwards on that. It was the first game jitters.
45-0. Colleyville dominating right now. And Trammell, when we take a look at the numbers, Colleyville, they are getting over 11 yards per pass in this game. They're 8 of 11 for 122 passing yards. Meanwhile, the Colony is 5 for 12 for just 23 passing yards. They have 1.92 yards per pass. Colleyville with 11 yards per pass. And probably what paints a better picture is Colleyville has 244 yards of offense. And the Colony, after that 2-3 yard gain, has 40.
Yeah.
244 to 40. And that is indicative of a 45-0 lead on the scoreboard as we approach halftime.
Yeah, 40 total yards because a lot of negative plays. A lot of negative plays. And when they get negative plays, it's not a -1 or -2 yard loss. It's -8, -7. It is huge chunks of plays going in the wrong direction. And that's why they only have 40 yards of total offense tonight.
Meanwhile, Bodie Weaver has 74 rushing yards, 142 passing, and 5 total touchdowns. And now the question, Trammell, is how much longer do you think we will see guys like Bodie Weaver and the rest of the bunch in this game? Obviously, it looks like we're about to go to halftime, just 30 seconds left in a 45-0 ball game. But it looks like a lot of the starters you would think would get to hit the showers a little bit early here in this one. Not sure how early Coach Edwards would want to deploy that, but it's a game where, and you typically don't ever want to do that, right? Say it's decided or it's over, but it's 45-0 at halftime. Colleyville's going to improve to 2-1, and I know you're calling that early. There's still a lot of things to watch in this game, but from the perspective of just the starters playing, that becomes a storyline. How long are they going to play? Because obviously, as they go through this tough district, they're going to have a ton of tough tests, and one of their tougher tests, I would say their second toughest test of the year, is upcoming. Really, their toughest test of the year is the next 2 weeks.
Oh, for sure.
At Mansfield Timberview, finished right below you, and then at Argyle, who went undefeated at home. That's the biggest point of your season the next 2 weeks. So it's part of the idea to play these guys, get those reps, or when. At what point do you say this ball game's over? That's going to be something that we're going to watch. I would think since it's so early in the season, you still want to get Bodie comfortable with these guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a discussion point in a 45-0 ball game, Trammell.
Yeah, it's a tough decision because you don't want to mess up the rhythm. You don't want to mess up the momentum or anything. You don't want to take them out too early. I mean, the game is pretty much decided. It is 45-0, but you just don't want to mess up that rhythm and that flow that they built in this game in these last 2 weeks. Honestly, I would pull the starters out after halftime. I wouldn't let them go back in the second half. I wouldn't. But I feel like Coach Edwards is going to let them get a drive or two in that third quarter, and then he'll let them hit the showers.
Yeah, I was going to say whatever Trammell was going to say, I was going to have an HSO to reply, if whether you were going to say yes or no. And so the counter to that is that you do want them to come out because you want to get into a rhythm. You're not going to be hitting the showers early pretty much in district play that often. Now, I'll backtrack those words. If you play like this every week, maybe you will. However, let's be honest, you aren't going to do that against a Timberview, against an Argyle. And if you do, then we're not talking about district titles. We're talking about this team going much further than that.
For sure.
However, if we look 45-0 district opener, and obviously your season is the next 2 weeks. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, you have all of them, and it's 1 week at a time. And that's the mentality of this football team. But for us, for people watching, understanding, at Mansfield Timberview, that's a massive game. You improve to 2-0, and then you go up against Argyle. You can get Argyle. You have a track to win a district title because those are the two other biggest contenders in this district right now. And speaking of that, let's look around the district as well. And I don't want to disrespect Arlington Seguin, who's now 3-0, and they had an impressive win to start off district play yesterday. Not impressive in the sense that it was a win over Burleson, impressive in the sense that they looked really good and they've looked good this year. And they also dominated a Red Oak team that you ended up losing to in week one. So that's something to watch as well for. And they're obviously a good team, and it's a good district. I mean, just don't get us wrong in that regard. But it does feel like two of the top contenders in the district are Argyle, Colleyville, Mansfield, Timberview, and all those three teams clash over the next 2 weeks. So that is going to be fun to see. Colleyville at Mansfield, Timberview next week, and I think that will be an absolute battle. It was a battle last year in a low-scoring affair, a 10-0 win for Colleyville, and Argyle as well coming here to Mustang Panther Stadium. I mean, if you win in week one, that's something that Colleyville here at home under Jerry Edwards has never lost a home district game against Argyle, the reigning champs, and obviously very highly touted, the only team in 5A D2 in this district that's ranked in Dave Campbell, Texas football's top 10 in their rankings, and they're one of them in the top 10 at number 8 right now. So around the district, we're going to be looking around at some things. Obviously, when you look at Mansfield Timberview, and there's going to be tape, obviously fans, coaches, scouting, us, we're going to go back and watch that Argyle Mansfield Timberview game because you knocked out a couple of birds in a stone in terms of preparing for both of those teams and staying on track for it. But Argyle, they are dominating right now at halftime. They're also, just like Colleyville, pitching a shutout, and perhaps even more impressive that they are pitching a shutout against Mansfield Timberview, leading 21-0 at halftime over Mansfield Timberview in that ball game. Other scores around the district as well. We'll try to get you an update. And Panther Friday night on Tradio, you also, of course, have that Grapevine Mustang action on Tradio as well. They're taking on Everman, so you can pop over to that channel and check that out. And here, it's 45-0. Colleyville dominating at the break. Bodie Weaver with 5 total touchdowns, 4 in the air, 1 on the ground, 142 yards, 74 rushing, 142 passing. And then Lucas Sumwall, 73 receiving yards. Connor Shibakazi, 56. They each have a pair of scores, and Colleyville dominating here at halftime in the district opener. It looks like we're going to take a break according to London, so we will. Tremel Jeffers, Will Connerly, and the rest of the crew back in a moment.
There it is. Small batch biscuits, just minutes from the oven, with crunchy, hand-breaded chicken. Now you know the Carolina legend is here. If you know,
Peyton Jones. Junior Lieutenant Hannah Brown. Panther of the Week is sophomore Addison Schrader. Spirit Girl of the Week is senior London Murillo. Pantera Heart of the Bill is senior Anam Mohammed. Pantera Teacher of the Week is Coach Spence. Pantera managers are Lauren Bellinger, Lindsay Shepard, and Sophia Schultz. Tonight's performance is a fun jazz kick routine to Don't Stop the Music. Panteras are under the direction of Kara Span. Please welcome to the field the Colleyville Heritage High School Marching Band. Their show is entitled Metamorphosis and features symphonic metamorphosis by Paul Henry. Colleyville Heritage High School is proud to present drum majors Alyssa Bolden, Nicole Chakuksavar, Allison Gary, Maya Rana, and the Colleyville Heritage Panther Band. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, you're currently delayed. Medical attention is being rendered on the field. We appreciate your cooperation.
Back with you here on Panther Friday Night on Tradio alongside Tremel Jeffers. I'm Will Connerly. Happy to be with you tonight. Colleyville leading 45-0 as we get ready to start the third quarter. Tremel, a dominant effort by Colleyville, to say the least, after one half of football, leading 45-0. And some of the numbers from the first half pretty staggering. 272 yards of offense for Colleyville, just 48 for the Colony. And Colleyville, Bodie Weaver, a big star, 9 of 12 for 142 yards and 4 touchdowns passing. He added 1 rushing as well. A career day for him as Xavier Green brings back this return, gets to about the 27-yard line before he's pushed out, and a flag is in on the play.
Looks like it's going to be another holding call on another decent return from Xavier Gibson. Excuse me, Xavier Green. Yep, and that will indeed be the call, as they are backed all the way to the 12-yard line.
A long field to go for the Colony. Only gained 48 yards of total offense and 3 first downs in the first half.
Yeah, and if I'm the coach of the Cougars, I'm just trying to get some positive plays and bring some positive momentum going into next week's game.
Not a positive play here. Colleyville gets into the backfield on the first play, and it's Isaiah Omar just wrecking through this offensive line. And I think, Tremel, when we bring up Isaiah Omar, one thing I think a lot of people forget about is his age. He is just a sophomore, but the 6'1", 285-pound defensive lineman is an absolute force.
Oh, yeah, he's going to have a lot of colleges knocking on his door. His mailbox is going to be full by the end of this year and over the next 2 years as he continues to grow and develop. He is a monster on that interior defensive line for the Panthers.
And a huge loss And Gaines now escape at the pocket. He's in the end zone. He throws it out to Xavier Green. Trying to find him. Wollery in the coverage. It's out of play. That makes it 3rd and long. But the sophomore Isaiah Omar got called up last year as a freshman, midway through the year, got to play. Bigger role this year, and doesn't look like just a bigger role. Looks like he's a star on this defense. He's also played in some right tackle as well, but again, just a sophomore in this front for Colleyville, doing exactly what Jerry Edwards wanted. He said, we need and we want some more pressure. We didn't get a ton of tackles for loss last week, let up a couple of big plays. Overall, we slowed them down enough to win, but this week they're getting those tackles for loss, and it's a 3rd and long here.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to their week 1 performance against Red Oak. I mean, they were fantastic in that game. They fell off a little bit last week, but they have picked it right back up where they were 2 weeks ago.
And the timeout is called as a 3rd and 19 awaits. As we've just got underway here in the 3rd quarter. Here in a 45-0 game. Colleyville all over the Colony as we start the 3rd quarter. 10:48 on the clock here in quarter number 3. Isaiah Omar coming up with the big sack. He's out there up on that front. Got to give these guys some love. Isaiah Omar, Nehemiah Ole Iwola creating lanes, DeMarche Logan, and then, of course, Demarius Logan. That's the front 4, and they haven't really had to blitz much. I know Joey Nisbet had the blitz from the linebacker spot that led to an interception, but all in all, not a ton, as it's thrown over the middle, and the ball is caught right around the 15-yard line. That's hauled in by Kendrick McLeod, the running back, and that'll force the Colony to punt after it was 3rd and a mile. It's a 4th and about 7 now, and they'll have to punt.
This might sound crazy. I know they're backed up all the way on their own 14-yard line. I would go for it. I mean, we saw the last few punts that have happened, the last punt attempts that happened. They couldn't get the ball forward.
And this punt is forward. Fair catch called, and Colleyville will be in plus territory. Will Hummert calling for the fair catch at the 44-yard line.
Much better execution that time by the Panthers special teams. They were able to get a punt off, and Colleyville does get decent field position, but this is probably the worst field position that they've gotten in quite some time since early in that 1st quarter. They haven't been backed up this far in a while.
I mean, even early in the 1st quarter, they start the game an onside kick, and they're toward midfield to begin the game, and the field position has been a huge story tonight. Bodie Weaver still in the ball game, and pass caught by Trevi Preicha was down on the turf for a moment before he's stopped up by Tremaine Barton, the junior linebacker. Something to note, it's Gabe Best, number 11, who, nothing to scoff at there, had a very impressive 28-yard touchdown reception last week. He's now in the backfield, not Gerard Wiley, next to the quarterback Bodie Weaver. A loss on the play makes it 2nd and 11.
Yeah, I think it's important to get Gabe Best some touches as well. He's a key part of this offense, and just build his confidence up. He got a big touchdown in last week's game. He's a very good player. I would like to see him get some more looks.
Wendler comes in motion. Here is a look to Gabe Best. He has a couple of blocks up the field across the 40-yard line. Good block by Trevi Preicha. That's one thing of this receiving core, I think. We know they can explode, but if they can continue to be solid in the run blocking game with the way Gerard Wiley wants to stretch the defense, it just really makes it challenging on another team's linebacking core to be able to deal with all those lanes, and even the receivers getting involved in the blocking right there. You saw Preicha create a hole. Weaver, toss over the middle. Wendler with the catch. And that is a 1st down gain inside the 30-yard line. First opportunity for Blake Wendler tonight. He had a touchdown last week. And it's a 1st down.
and everybody's getting involved in this game. I love to see it. Super Casey, Sunwall, Windler, everybody's getting touches. Wiley caught a couple. Bess, I love it. I love that Bodie Weaver is spreading the wealth, and everybody's just getting the opportunity.
So 1st and 10, it's Gabe Bess. Cuts up the field, and a really nice run by Gabe Bess. I mean, he's got a little bit of surge to his game as well. And he moves forward a pickup of 8 on the carry. So the junior running back setting up 2nd and short. After he bangs it inside, and let's give credit to the offensive line where it's due as well. These holes have been huge tonight.
They have. And they're getting great push. They have dominated in the trenches tonight.
On both sides of the football, and that's why football, so much of it dominating in the trenches. Everybody knows that. But when if you just looked at the trenches tonight, not the score, not anything else, just the trenches on both sides, you could probably understand why it's a 45-0 game. The trenches set everything up, and even if we go back to the beginning of the game, it was Bodie Weaver just using his legs.
Yeah.
And you look up 4 touchdown passes in the first half. He uses his legs to get down the field, executing in the red zone with his arm. Oh, he's also, by the way, scored tonight with his legs as well. He's had plenty of time, and he steps up in the pocket here. Fires it sideline in a spin and turn. Connor Supacase a yard away from his 3rd score of the night. He's cut down. Good tackle by Ryan Kessler to save the touchdown. And Connor Supacase with another big-time catch. It's 1st and goal for Colleyville from about the 1.5 yard line.
And I think here they're going to try to extend that record for Bodie Weaver. I think he's going to get touchdown number 6 right here.
Bodie Weaver, handoff to Gabe Bess. He's untouched into the end zone from 1 yard out. He punches it in. Gabe Bess, for the 2nd consecutive week, has found the end zone. So not the prediction Tramel Jeffers had in the books, but it's still +6 on the board.
And again, the offensive line creates the hole. Untouched. Again, right up the middle, right between those tackles. It's just too easy. They are dominating in the trenches tonight.
And it makes you think, because coming into this game, and really for Colleyville on offense as the PAT is up and through the uprights, again, that is Andrew Roy on the PAT. And he converts 52-0 Colleyville. But for the Panthers, it looks like we're going to see a lot of Gabe Bess, get him touches in the second half. And I think that if he can show something here, right, hasn't played a ton. That was his 4th carry of the year. He had 1 in each of the first 2 games and then 2 on that drive. You know, most teams, especially in high school football, they've got that star running back, right? Gerard Wiley is that. If you could have multiple guys in the backfield, though, at times in certain packages, I know typically they're going to go 4 wide or 3 wide with a tight end and 1 in the backfield. And they're not going to typically run a lot of 22 package. They're not going to run a ton of 2 running back sets, but if they do, that could unlock something within this offense as well to have another guy to worry about. It already feels like there's 2 running backs in the backfield with Bodie Weaver and Gerard Wiley. You could add that. That could be such a dynamic running attack that you need when you want to establish the run. And I think in the second half, up 52-0, we're not breaking any news. They're going to run the football pretty much this entire half when they have it. And so that'll be interesting to see how they operate in that regard.
Yeah, I think it's really important for Gabe Bess to really show something in this game and these last 2 quarters, to show some big things. I mean, he's done it so far, because we're going to need him in that game against Timberview next week. We would like to see a little bit more of him next week. And then when we play against Argyle, we might need him a little bit more against Argyle. It might not just be a Gerard Wiley day. He could get in the mix as well. So we're going to need him over these next 2 weeks for sure. These are some big games coming up, and we can really unleash something right here.
And you follow football at the highest levels in the National Football League, right at the top of the top. Those guys most quality teams, they've got their guy. But there's a lot of tandems in the backfield, and that just makes it so much harder. Obviously, you have the third down backs, the 1 through 3 backs, and these different type of sets, but he could be a part of this offense and certainly has an opportunity to showcase that here tonight. Plus, you get to rest Gerard Wiley a little bit here throughout the second half before this team obviously gets ready for the 2 biggest games of their season these next 2 weeks, in the regular season at least, against Timberview and then Argyle. Deep shot down the field, wide open, but in and out of the hands. Vincent Canzano had a touchdown. If he hauled it in, you would have thought, or at least perhaps he would have got close. Instead, it's incomplete. And the tight end, Vincent Canzano, unable to haul that one in. Another all-district guy in his own right. And a couple of key drops tonight have hurt the Colony.
Yeah, Canzano was wide open on that play, right down the seam, a nice route. He just couldn't snag the ball in. It hit his fingertips. He couldn't haul it in. And that is a big miss. That would have got them some good momentum moving forward in the future.
Now Gaines, another deep shot down the field. It's incomplete. They were looking for Tyler Osborne Jr. Makes it 3rd and 10. 6:43 on the clock here in the third quarter. Colleyville 52-0. They have the lead. And 3rd and 10 awaits. Gaines, short hit out to Xavier Green, gets a block, finds the edge. Upended, but not until he picks up a first down.
A nice, unique screen design there on that play as the running back drags through the middle, and he picks up a nice first down gain. That was a nice play. They executed it pretty well there.
Some reserves into the game as well right now. That defensive back to make that stop, Aiden Martinez back there. Making the stop. Now Gaines being pressured again, has to throw it, and does to the sideline. It's somehow hauled in. That's Ryan Kessler with the catch.
That time he's flushed out of the pocket. He's forced to make a tough throw. He gets it. He makes a nice throw, and they get another first down. That's back-to-back first downs. Or no, he's going to be a little short his second down.
Going to be shy, but a completion for Jalen Gaines. 5.5 left in the third quarter. Colleyville dominating. Looking for the hit over the middle. Couldn't find Vincent Canzano, the tight end.
That time they tried to get something really quick off. Colleyville is playing deep off coverage. They tried to get a quick hit to pick up some yardage. He had him wide open, could have picked up a first down and a big gain, but he just misfired, threw it too hard.
If you're just joining us tonight, Bodie Weaver, a career-high 4 passing touchdowns, all coming in the first half. He added a score on the ground as well. And here's Xavier Green with the catch up to the 45, a first down for the Colony. Some reserves into the game for Colleyville in the secondary. They also inserted their backup running back, Gerard Wiley. Bodie Weaver was still out there to start the second half. Or backup running back, Gabe Best for Gerard Wiley, pardon me. And so we'll see how that develops and how many starters are going to continue to play throughout the duration of this game as they get ready for the 2 biggest games in district play. I mean, the biggest game every coach is going to say is the next one, right? The one we're playing. But on the schedule, at least, the 2 biggest games appear to be the next 2 weeks. But an impressive performance tonight. Another one that hits off the hands of a receiver, Marvin Mitta. Over there on the far side, unable to make that grab. 4:40 to go here in quarter number 3. And a 2nd and 10 awaits. But still out of this game, I think some things we've learned tonight is that if Colleyville really can't establish the run, whether it's Bodie Weaver or Gerard Wiley, it's set up some explosive passes tonight. Haven't seen the 70, 80 yards, but it's not what you need when you drive down the field methodically like they have. And they found a way to put it in the end zone at a really high level tonight. As it's over on the far side, just going to be a yard shy of the first down marker there on the catch. Jalen Gaines getting rid of it quickly on the RPO, and he finds his man Tyler Osborne Jr. a couple yards shy of the line to gain.
Yeah, this is a drive for Jalen Gaines to really find a rhythm, get some routine passes going. The Panthers are playing soft coverage, so keep throwing those short passes, those quick passes. Get the ball out quick because you know that pressure is coming.
Kendrick McLeod nowhere to go. Does pick up the necessary yardage for the first down. And the coach's son, Braden Edwards, coming in to make the tackle. Really cool story in week 1. He got to come into the game and play a little bit when Camden Blackson went down for a moment. And head coach Jerry Edwards told us really special moment for him. Decades of coaching, and that certainly was a special moment, something you dream of as this is thrown down the field and in and out of the hands, not of the intended target, but of the defensive back, and it's not hauled in. Colin Bennett almost with the 2nd interception of the day for Colleyville.
Colin Bennett almost had one to his name. He just couldn't haul it in. Falls right off his fingertips. But good coverage. There was never a chance for him to get beat.
A 52-0 lead. Colleyville on top, 3.5 to go here in the third. McClodden hit to the outside. That's hauled in by the big man, Aaron Jones. Makes it 3rd and short. Another look towards Jones on the sideline. It's incomplete. Bennett is there in the coverage. Or check that, Aiden Martinez there in the coverage. Martinez, 32. .302 to go in the third. Jalen Gaines looking to the far side across the way where Rudy Rangel's squad calling in the plays, looking to get on the scoreboard tonight. Meanwhile, Colleyville, well, they've continued to trend this evening here as we await a 4th down. They've created an opportunity this game, obviously taking advantage of the turnovers and the short fields and the mistakes, and the captain, Bodie Weaver, playing incredibly well in this ball game, finding some of his big targets, including a couple of running touchdowns for his running backs and one for Weaver. Punching it in 7 times during tonight's affair, adding a field goal as well. And a shot down the field, and Green with the touchdown on 4th and short. They launch it into the end zone for a touchdown, 27-yard score, and the Colony on the board for the first time tonight.
A great route by Green. I mean, he shows you why he's a D1 receiver, why he's committed to the University of Tulsa. He hit him out with a inside move, and then he faded to the right, and he beat his man and scores the touchdown. That's a great momentum play for the Cougars as they will move down the line next week. They just need to keep hitting those plays and keep getting as many yards and as many completions as you can get, just so you can go in with something positive next week. I mean, yeah, the game is decided. I know we still have some time left, but let's be honest. The result it has been decided. But just moving on to next week, they need to really get something going to boost their confidence and let them know that, hey, we can do something. We just shot ourselves in the foot today. We made a lot of mistakes today. That was the reason why we didn't compete in this ball game, because we shot ourselves in the foot. It's not because we're not talented or we're not capable. They are. I mean, at one point the game was 14-7, remember? But it was wiped off because of the holding on the kick return.
That's
so it
right.
looked like we had a ball game early on. They were competing
did.
for a while. I mean, the mistakes really hurt them in this game.
That is a really good point. I mean, Xavier Green brings one back for 100 yards after Colleyville goes up 14-0. You think it's 14-7, but a touchdown gets wiped away, and you wait until now, and it's to the midst of the late third quarter stages before Colleyville with some of their reserves in on defense. That's when the Colony scores for the first time tonight. It's a testament to Colleyville's defense, to bottling up Kendrick McClodden, a running back who had really good numbers coming into this game, and just in his career he's been dynamic. For Xavier Green, I mean, he had a great catch right there, but they've, for the most part, contained the three-star wide receiver, but that for sure was their best drive of the game. They went 14 plays, 75 yards, end up scoring on a 26-yard touchdown to Xavier Green. But all in all tonight, it's been tough sledding for Jalen Gaines in this Colony offense. He's 12 for 27 for 108 yards, a touchdown, and one interception. Xavier Green, 7 catches, but just for 61 yards, and 27 of them came, or 26 of them just came on that one big catch. So before he was about 6 for 30, they were really limiting the big plays before the touchdown. And so that obviously is a big thing when you look at this game. On the other side, Bodie Weaver, who had a career low in completion percentage in week 1, was under 50%. Drops contributed to that, of course, but all in all, not an efficient day. As efficient as he's ever been as a Panther here tonight. He's 12 for 15. That's good for 80% for 176 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns. Along with a rushing score, along with Gerard Wiley and Gabe Bess also scoring on the ground. 7 total touchdowns for the Panthers. And Connor Supacase, he's got 80 yards and 2 touchdowns receiving. Sunwall, 73 yards and a pair of scores as well. As Chase Gibson, solid return up to about the 35-yard line. And so Colleyville will head on out, 2:45 to go in the third quarter. And they lead 52-7.
Yeah, a lot of great performances tonight. I think if Pro Football Focus was here tonight, we would have a lot of 90 and above grades. At least 5 players on this Panthers team with grades above 90 tonight. I mean, just fantastic performances across the board. The defensive line, dominant. The offensive line, dominant. Bodie Weaver, perfect. Gerard Wiley had a solid game. Gabe Bess is playing well. Supacase had a great game. Sunwall, I mean, you name it. It's hard to pick a player of the game, but I do think it's Bodie Weaver. But a lot of deserving players.
And Gabe Bess with the rush, really solid in between the tackles. He puts his head down, going right down the chute for a gain, and it sets up a 2nd and 4. So Gabe Bess getting an opportunity here in the second half after just having a couple of carries through 2 weeks. He's had 4 now in this game. 2:10 to go in the third. Heavy dose of Bodie Weaver right here. Trevi Prycia wakes the catch and shakes a man as well up to the 35.
Yep, he just catches the ball, spins off his defender, and picks up those yards after the catch.
The second quarter, Trammell, is something we're going to have to look into a little bit more as we progress, and certainly researching throughout the week. But how about this, Trammell? Second quarter here tonight. Colleyville outscores the Colony 38-0. Wow. In the second quarter. Now, that's impressive. But if you do the math and date back to the first two games of the year as well, Colleyville has outscored their opponents 64-7 in the third quarter this season, as Lucas Sunwall has another big first down grab. But the second quarter, for whatever reason, has been friendly to the Panthers this season. Coming in, they were outscoring opponents 26-7. 38-0 in the second quarter tonight. Not sure what that means. It means when they settle in, but 64-7 in quarter number 2, cumulative score here this season. There's a really nice run by Gabe Best. He's showcasing what he can do on the football field tonight as well here in the second half. And the junior running back showing that there's another junior running back worthy of getting some carries, along with Gerard Wiley here on this football team.
Yeah, and it's like after that second quarter, or after the first quarter, they get settled in, and there's no turning back.
That was a big thing a year ago, is they struggled in the first quarter. They started slow, and they were a good second quarter team as well. But to be able to put up advantages like they have here in the first half, at least the last couple of weeks, it's been impressive. And for Jerry Edwards, I mean, it doesn't take much defensively for Jerry Edwards' teams with the Panthers to get wins. Now, we went through the numbers here this week. He's 21-6 here through his career, starting in his third season right now. In 21 wins, though, they've only allowed 13.6 points per game. In the 21 wins, they're allowing less than 2 touchdowns per game as Bodie Weaver spins, turns, throws, and another touchdown. Number 5 of the night for Bodie Weaver through the air, and it's Trevi Preicha for the score.
Oh, my gosh. It looked like he had nothing there. Looks like he was going to throw the ball away. He spins. He finds an open receiver in the back. Trevi Preicha catches another touchdown. Bodie Weaver is putting on a clinic tonight. He is balling tonight.
And that might have been his best play of the night. Pocket breaks. He spins. Probably could run. Instead, keeps his eyes downfield, and Trevi Preicha continues to work after all the progressions were through. And there is Landon Dressel with the point after. It's converted. A 59-7 score.
Wow.
And that was the most impressive play of the night for Bodie Weaver. Spins,
for sure.
Turns, Trevi Preicha right there. Another man finding the end zone. So 5 passing touchdowns tonight for Bodie Weaver. His career high, which he tied for last week with 3. He's obliterated tonight. You'd think certainly will be the offensive player of the game for Colleyville, but probably across local publications throughout DFW, player of the week for the entire area. Obviously, we'll look at other things and scores, but it is hard to imagine anybody has played better than Bodie Weaver has tonight.
Yes.
Quarterback in this offense at an incredibly high level.
Yeah, it's hard to surpass 6 total touchdowns, 5 through the air and a rushing touchdown. And he's played a perfect game. He's been accurate. He's getting what he wants on the ground, through the air. I mean, and the way he's been maneuvering through the pocket and just keeping his eyes downfield, he has done a wonderful job. I mean, I called it earlier. He's going to be first-team All-District again. He's going to be district MVP.
An updated total on the numbers tonight for who you are crowning already with some postseason awards. 15 of 19 for 224 yards in the air and 5 passing touchdowns. As was a touchback despite Jermaine Barton trying to bring it out. However, let's get through these numbers. Important. Bodie Weaver, 15 of 19. It's about 79% completion. 224 yards in the air, 5 touchdowns passing. But he also has a rushing touchdown, and not to mention 74 rushing yards. So Bodie Weaver, all in all tonight, 6 touchdowns responsible for, and about 300 total yards of offense with his passing and rushing numbers combined. So, yeah, 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. It's a pretty good day at the office for the UTEP commit in Bodie Weaver. And he's found 3 different players, 4 touchdowns receiving. Lucas Sunwall has a pair. Connor Supacase has a pair. And then Trevi Prycia now scoring a touchdown as well. And Weaver leading this team in rushing 74 yards. It's kind of par for the course, and another interception. Bringing this one back for Colleyville. Joey Nisbet into the end zone. A pick 6. His second interception of the year. And the middle linebacker with a brilliant read and return as it just keeps getting better this evening for the Panthers.
Joey Nisbet, another big play. Earlier in the game, he caused an interception off a blitz. He rushed the quarterback, had the quarterback flustered out the pocket, threw it up in the air, and Dax Hebeson was the one that picked it off in that first play. And now this time, Nisbet gets in on the action, and he gets a pick 6. So he is joining the fun now and joining the turnover party. What a game for Nisbet as well. This Panthers defense is balling tonight. They came to play, they've dominated, and they've just obliterated this Cougars offense.
Third turnover of the night for the Cougars, and that's not counting a couple of major miscues on special teams that gave Colleyville really just walk into the end zone drive starting at the goal line. And there's Andrew Roy with the point after. And so Colleyville adds on. It is 66-7. We will step aside and be right back. Quarter number 4 on the other side.
Batch biscuits, just minutes from the oven, with crunchy hand-breaded chicken. Now you know the Carolina legend is here. If you know,
So defense leads to points, second time this year that's happened. If you remember, a safety also earlier in this season causing some points for Colleyville, but now a pick 6. Could also probably say Chase Gibson nearly with a pick 6 last week. Instead, set Colleyville up at the 4-yard line. They were able to put points on the board as well throughout that. Dax Hebeson interception tonight. Joey Nisbet interception as well. So the linebackers with a couple of picks tonight. 3 turnovers forced all in all. And this Colleyville defense, really good. Jerry Edwards, a defensive-minded coach. And we were getting through his resume here at Colleyville. Again, 21-6 here. 3rd season. pretty impressive record. It'll be 22-6 after tonight. But in those 21 wins, they've averaged less than 2 touchdowns per game. So the defense has been pretty good in their wins. And, okay, that makes sense. They're going to win. However, in their 6 losses, they've averaged 42 points per game allowed. So a big discrepancy between if they've lost under Jerry Edwards, they're giving up 40-plus points, typically. Yeah. So the Red Oak game, that was the fewest points they've ever allowed in a loss under Jerry Edwards. In fact, they are 21-1 when allowing less than 40 points in a game. They've only lost one, and that's a high number.
That is.
Typically, you hear a team, okay, you are 30-0 when you allow less than 20 points. No, they're 21-1 when they allow less than 40 points in 3 seasons under Jerry Edwards. So it pretty much shows, hey, if the defense can just do enough, this offense typically has found a way under Coach Edwards. And I know everything changes, new players, new teams, but for a defensive-minded coach, I'm sure he's absolutely thrilled with 66 points on the board in the last 7, thanks to Joey Nisbet in the defense. But also I think that he's very impressed just allowing the 7 points tonight, not to mention those coming in with some of the backups into the game as well.
Of course, I mean, it was just complete annihilation from the defense on all phases. The front 7 was awesome with the blitzes, getting home with 4, the turnovers. The secondary got some big picks. It was just a great effort by everybody, all 11 players on the defense.
Braden Edwards, coach's son right there on the coverage, and Ryan Kessler with the drop. And Edwards, 2.5 decades of coaching, came from Killeen Harker Heights. He was the all-time winningest coach there, a 6A school. Spent a decade there. Before that, the DC at Mansfield for about 5 years before going to Harker Heights. And in his final year there, he got them to the regional finals and ended up losing to eventual state champion DeSoto with Harker Heights, and then comes here. They end up going extremely far, making a bid for the regional final a couple of years ago, and then last year, in his second year, losing to Anna, a team that won the state championship the year before, and they kind of got obliterated in that opening round playoff game. And so coming into this year, yeah, going to the playoffs, they make it this year. It'll be 2 straight decades of the playoffs for the Panthers, but looking to see how far they could go. And Trammell tonight, I think, shows that they mean business here in district play. And talking with Coach Edwards this week, he tells us, I mean, we want to go undefeated in district play. That's our goal. We've got to take it a game at a time. And they're trying to showcase a lot of that great effort here tonight as they get another pass rush home and a deep shot down the field. It's incomplete. Demarius Logan was in there on the pressure that caused the throw to be unlaunched, and Bryce Altazin is unable to make it. Outstretched fingertips couldn't corral it, and 4th down causes a punt. 10:44 left on the clock here in the 4th quarter, in a 66-7 ball game with Colleyville in control.
Yeah, Coach Edwards spoke on how he wants to go undefeated in district play. Not an easy task at all. This is a tough district, but it's definitely possible. And next week is going to be a perfect measuring stick to see where is this Colleyville Heritage Panthers team at? How good are they? We will definitely get to see that next week against a quality opponent in district play against the Mansfield Timberview Wolverines.
Yeah, going up against the Wolves on the road next week, I mean, that is one of the toughest games on your schedule. Mansfield Timberview. Really, I mean, we could start looking ahead at that game right now here in a 66-7 game. Again, we'll be on the air at Mansfield next week, 7 o'clock, 6:30. Join us, as always. We'll have head football coach Jerry Edwards on the pregame show. But just to give you an idea of this football team, Mansfield Timberview, excuse me, they really took it to Argyle tonight in the second half. They end up losing in this game. 35-27, Mansfield goes on the road and hangs with a top 10 team, a regional contender in Argyle, just to show you, hey, nobody's going to take moral victories. I'm sure Mansfield is upset about that one. The Wolves are. But to lose 35-27, to lose by a possession to Argyle, it kind of shows you how close Mansfield is, how much closer they are to the top than perhaps the middle of the pack or the bottom of this district. And they were down 21-0 at halftime, but then put up big points, 27 of them in the second half, and outscore Argyle 27-14 in the second half. It just wasn't enough, and they fall by a possession tonight.
Yeah, they were down 28-0. They end up making a late comeback, a late push at the end. It just wasn't enough. They ran out of time. I can't wait to watch the replay of that game this weekend.
Running with some attitude right there is Colin Bennett. Colin Bennett a couple of years ago really logged a ton of rushing yards on the ground. Now appearing to be the third-stringed running back behind Gerard Wiley and Gabe Best. But late in this ball game with the game out of reach, it obviously looks like time to bring in the backups, and going further down on the depth chart and bringing in Colin Bennett in the backfield. Obviously familiar with the position. Had plenty of opportunity last year as well. And there's another handoff to Bennett. Looks like a lot of handoffs. Harrison Roberts getting his first action at the varsity level right now. So the book is closed. Bodie Weaver hitting the showers early tonight. He will not play in the fourth quarter. But as the fourth quarter begins, and the backup quarterback, Harrison Roberts, the junior, who perhaps is the guy next in line, these are the type of opportunities where a coach gets to see, okay, the game is over. We've got the thing done. What can a guy who perhaps is going to be the guy next year do with a couple of drives of football perhaps at the end of this game? And that's what the junior quarterback Harrison Roberts is getting, and obviously getting to understudy under Bodie Weaver, who went 15 of 19 for 224 passing yards and 5 touchdowns, along with a rushing score tonight. Well, he'll get to see that. Here's Roberts with his first completion at the varsity level, and it's a good one as Trevi Preisha runs up to the 35-yard line on the connection.
That's awesome to see. It's his first varsity completion. That's going to boost his confidence. And let's see if he can get in a rhythm on this drive.
About 8 minutes and change here in the fourth quarter. So that was one score tonight across the district, 35-27. Argyle won, as you mentioned, a 28-0 score. But Mansfield Timberview, after being down 28-0, they only lost by a possession in that game. And that's who Colleyville has next week. Big hole for Colin Bennett. He gets to about the 43-yard line on the rush.
Colin Bennett is going to be able to show some things on this drive, too. Like you said, he's not new to the position. He's got a couple of good runs on this drive. So a lot of players that are buried a little bit down on that depth chart, they're getting an opportunity to showcase what they have, and they're making a name for themselves in the future. So this is a tryout not only for later on down the line, but for now as well.
Roberts, another handoff to Colin Bennett. He's running with some good authority tonight. They move the chains forward here. Rod Wiley worked the first half. In the third quarter was Gabe Best. Now Colin Bennett getting some opportunities. Seen him in on defense as well throughout the course of this game, but somebody who, again, he rushed in his freshman season for 250 yards in 9 games, had 437 yards as a sophomore, had 4 touchdowns rushing as a freshman, 253 yards, and had a really solid season as Colin Bennett goes again. Again, putting his head down for the first down, a really nice carry. He struggled last season running the football. In 6 games, he had 30 carries for 79 yards, just 2.5 a carry. He didn't really have a big run along of 5 on the year, no touchdowns. In his junior year, now a senior. But in his sophomore year, 437 yards, over 6 a carry. had a 100-yard game as well. And in his freshman season, over 4 yards a carry, 250 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, all in all, he has over 800 rushing yards in his career. But kind of took a step back last year with Jarrod Wiley's emergence and didn't really know if he was going to be a guy running the football at all this year. And perhaps not in the plans, but he really is showing the ability to run the football here right now. And there is a completion to Will Hummer. Guy you see quite a bit on the defensive side, getting an opportunity here.
Yeah, on offense. I like it.
Will Hummer, Ethan Jackson into the ballgame as well. So some backup wide receivers also getting some opportunities. Trevi Prycha out there also. Harrison Roberts, the quarterback. 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. 66-7, Colleyville in control. This, the final district game. There are a few others around that we'll get you to. We obviously told you about Seguin and Colin Bennett with some space. He continues to cut up the field, and Colin Bennett will have himself a 28-yard score. He's looking really good on this drive.
He is. He's got that 2023 form that he showed a couple years ago. He looked really good on that drive. Every run was a big run. 7 yards, 12 yards, 14 yards. I mean, every handoff, he got big gains. He's showing that he might need to get a little more push in the offense. He might need to get some more touches as a running back.
Making a case. Backups in, but same result. Colleyville puts points on the board, and they lead by, let's just say, a lot. 73-7 the score. 4:17 to go in the fourth. We'll be back.
Carolina flavor. That's it. It's Southern, but with a little oomph in it. Now you know. The Carolina legends here. You know.
From your first paycheck to your first dollar. Starting your own business or celebrating your retirement. We're here for all of life's simple requirements. At Simmons Bank, our modern banking solutions make managing your finances effortless and efficient, so you can focus on what matters most. Simmons Bank. It's even moments like that. SimmonsBank.com, FDIC authorizing member, all accounts subject to approval.
$73-7 the score. Colleyville in control. Colin Bennett, latest to get into the end zone here in the district opener tonight, and it's been a quality district opener for the Colleyville Heritage Panthers. Colin Bennett with a 27-yard touchdown run. He really showed it on the ground tonight with that last drive. Colleyville now over 400 yards of offense here tonight, and the return from about the 15-yard line. Not much room to operate, just across the 20. But when you put up 73 points in a high school football game, you would think perhaps they have 500-600 yards of offense. They have 400 yards of offense, and I think that's a case in point is, first of all, how in the heck are you scoring 73 points? I mean, that is just unheard of. The second, especially in this district, like a tough district like we've talked about all game. However, 400 yards of offense on 73 points doesn't really always add up. You'd think it'd be more yards, but they've had such great field position, forcing turnovers, the defense getting involved as well, putting points on the board, a couple of 3 turnovers forced, a couple of special teams blunders that started them in the red zone, and also penalties. I mean, let's be honest, 70 penalty yards for the Colony, just 10 for Colleyville in this game. That's another area where they've certainly had good stuff. But Harrison Roberts, first varsity drive as the quarterback, he goes 2 for 2 for 17 yards. And I think Colin Bennett pretty much had every yard on that drive. He has 74 rushing yards.
Yeah.
74 on 6 carries, so he's getting a dozen a carry. And again, he pretty much had every single. I mean, they started backed up. Colleyville did. They went 9 plays, 92 yards, but 72 of those yards were from Colin Bennett. And so he had a really impressive game, 74 of them, excuse me. So now he's tied with Bodie Weaver for the most rushing yards tonight for a Panther, and he's played 1 drive. So Colin Bennett looked really good, make no bones about it. He was really, really impressive.
He did. I think Coach Edwards should consider getting him on the field a little bit more. I think he definitely made a case tonight, especially on that last drive. I mean, he gashed him up the middle every single handoff.
Another final across district play tonight. Everman playing Grapevine in a very different affair than what we saw tonight. A close game and a low-scoring game. 12-7 the final. Everman picks up their first win of the year, and they beat Grapevine by a score of 12-7 at Everman. So Everman, they pick up a district win. They're 1-0 in district action. Colleyville going to be 1-0 in district action. Arlington Seguin also 1-0 after picking up a victory last night. And then also Argyle as well, 1-0. They hold on to beat Mansfield Timberview, who the Colleyville Heritage Panthers will take on the road next week in what should be a thrilling matchup.
Yeah, I can't wait for next week. Like I said, I can't wait to watch that game over again over the weekend. 35-27 victory for Argyle. A late push by Mansfield Timberview just wasn't enough. They're going to have to go undefeated throughout the rest of the district if they want a shot at first place. I think the only way Timberview has a shot at winning district, if things go out the way I think they do, the only way they have a shot is if there's a 3-way tie. That would mean they would have to beat us, and then we would have to beat Argyle, and, you know, that's a 3-way tie right there. It's going to have to be something crazy to happen for them. So they're going to be desperate next week. Like you said, the district is these next 2 games pretty much. And then, of course, we're going to have to show some respect to Arlington Seguin as well. They'll be in the mix. But these next 2 weeks could possibly determine the winner for the district. We play Timberview next week and then Argyle in the following week.
Just 2 and change left here in this fourth quarter, 73-7. Colleyville in control, and really if you're on the other side for the Colony, you'll try to have to flush this one quickly and get ready for more action upcoming. The Colony, again, a team that, you know, they come into this action last year going 2-6 in this district, looking to be more competitive, and of course they take on Everman next week in a game that you would think the Colony hosting Everman for their home district opener. They won 46-0 in week 1 against Kettler Fossil Ridge at home, and the next time they return home they take on Everman, a game you would think they would be favored in. However, Everman tonight, after you saw they beat Grapevine 12-7 in a very low-scoring game as the Colony set to punt once again. But that's what's up next for the Colony, taking on Everman. Another high snap on the punt. The Colony really just no room at all tonight to move that offense that had been explosive throughout really the first 2 weeks of the season. And Xavier Green, Kendrick McCloudon, the quarterback, and Jalen Gaines, who now experienced after taking some opportunities last year. And with their season getting derailed against Colleyville the year ago, I mean, no, coming into play Colleyville Heritage is a tall task, and it certainly looked to be a very tall one for the Colony tonight as the Panthers are 70-37. I mean, again, we expected Colleyville to win, if we're being honest. And we kind of talked about that leading up to this game. On paper, they're a dominant team. They're at home. They've been great at home under Jerry Edwards. They're now 15-1 under Jerry Edwards in district play. Haven't lost a home district game. All these things, and just on paper, the talented team, how they played against Red Oak and Richland, two very, very solid teams. And again, with all that being said, would have thought, 20-point favorites maybe, but to be up 73-7, I mean, nobody would have thought that, and that's a testament to how disciplined Colleyville really has been. I mean, 73-7, you look and it's explosive, but it's disciplined. I think that the thing that stands out to me, the run lanes, taking what the defense is giving them, which Coach Edwards has really talked about, the efficiency leading to the big plays, and then defensively, they are so disciplined tonight. They knew Gaines could get out of the pocket, but really no room scrambling tonight. No room at all scrambling tonight. And the mobilest quarterback that they'll play this year, I could say with a high degree of confidence, watching the film across the district, has already been through Billy Middleton. Mm-hmm. They're not going to have to play a guy that mobile. And I think that first week was a wake-up call to that front seven. They looked really good in that game, but it showed, hey, this is what we're going to be able to do. We're going to be okay holding Red Oak to 20 points. They come back the next week, and, yeah, they lit up some explosive plays against Cates and company against Richland, but all in all, the front seven good, and tonight, Gaines nowhere to go. Couldn't get out of the pocket, I don't think, one time. And that's a huge testament to Demarius Logan, Isaiah Omar, Nehemiah Ole-Iwola, DeMarche Logan, the linebackers coming in and playing great. The secondary, for the most part, which maybe is the one part of this defense that you could think had struggled if you had to point one finger, the third level of that defense. They really one play explosive tonight when the backups were in for Xavier Green to get the touchdown. I mean, all in all, you have to grade this as an A-plus performance. You thought Colleyville would come in and win and take care of business at home if they did their job, and they did. But they did it in a fashion that really raises an eyebrow to make you get excited. How good could this Colleyville Heritage football team be this season? That's the thing and the thoughts that I'm having right now as they put together this performance tonight with such a lopsided margin on the scoreboard.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My question is, how deep can this Panthers team go in the playoffs? We know they're going to get to the playoffs. We know they have a shot at winning the district. That's number one. Can they win the district? Two, how deep can they get into the playoffs? We know we were upset in the first round last year. I don't think it's going to be the same story this year. I think we're going to have a deep playoff run. Hopefully, we take it all the way into December.
And so Mansfield Timberview, the Wolves, up on the schedule next week. That's where we'll be in Mansfield, Texas, in a week from now, taking on Jacody Coleman and company. Coleman, he's at Mansfield, his first season, and a brand new head coach there. Spent 3 seasons leading a 6A squad in Dallas Skyline. He's really got a talented team. Hung with Argyle tonight, fell by a possession, and that's next on the docket for Colleyville as they'll quickly turn the page. But first tonight, they'll enjoy for a moment because they win 73-7 over the Colony. Complete wire-to-wire, dominant fashion effort, and Bodie Weaver combining for 6 touchdowns, pretty much all in the first 3 quarters of the game. He went 15 of 19 for 224 yards passing. He had 74 on the ground and 6 total touchdowns, and the Panthers dominate tonight, and they put up 73 points, winning 73-7 in this one. Tremel Jeffers, final thoughts as we get ready for Mansfield Timberview next week.
I mean, wonderful performance on all 3 phases of the ball. The offense was amazing. Bodie Weaver is certainly the player of the game with 6 total touchdowns today. He was a wizard behind that offensive line that did a wonderful job blocking for him. The special teams was awesome. They caused a lot of blunders. The defense was fantastic. They got pressure, didn't allow the quarterback to get comfortable, didn't allow him to scramble. I mean, it was just nothing going on for that Cougars offense. They couldn't put up any points on the board until the end of the third quarter when the backups were pretty much into the game. It was just dominant. That is the word for it. Dominant in all capital letters on all 3 phases. Great game. I'm excited for next week because this is a quality opponent in Mansfield Timberview, and it is going to have a lot to do with who wins the district this year. I'm excited.
I am as well. For Tremel Jeffers, for London, for our entire camera crew, for our executive producer, Trey Bell, and all you watching at home. This was an edition of Panther Friday Night on Tradio. The Panthers win it 73-7. They're now 2-1, and they'll hit the road. They take on Mansfield Timberview next Friday night. We'll be there here on Tradio. I'm Will Connerly saying so long. The Panthers win it 73-7 over the Colony.